choice for the Legio Custodian.
Is this why they took the wings from the Sanguinary Guard?
Or you've got the...
Because they wanted to give it to these boys.
Pistol. Both of those are very lethal. They all come...
There's a lot of people in the chat who seems to think we're going to see Lehman Russ one. Which, no. My voice is going again. I had a terrible time yesterday with my voice. Hot drink. It's coffee, though, so I don't know if that actually helps. Probably not. But yeah, definitely can see the Maelstrom. Hero in Black's hot stuff. Red Corsairs. I think it was Eldar. Like the Eldar Corsair pirate guys. Beyond that, I don't know what we're going to see. I don't have really any...
Hello everybody and welcome to this very exciting New Year Warhammer preview.
Hello.
I'm Adam Troke. I'm joined by my friend and colleague Eddie Eccles.
Eddie!
We're delighted to welcome you all here.
Yeah, we've got some very cool Warhammer reveals for you on the way in this preview. We have some Warhammer 40,000, some Warhammer Age of Sigmar, a little bit of Horus Heresy, some new animation to have a look at, and some Blood Bowl. So it is a packed preview with a little bit
I did see someone suggest Blood Bowl before.
Fantastic. We're joined by loads of you already in the chat.
Oh, the Custodes as well. Yes, those Custodes.
Spending some time with us. We're going to wait a while before we jump into the first preview so that people can continue to flood in. And it's always nice to know a little bit of welcoming and greeting everybody. It's nice to know where you're all from. So if you wouldn't mind just punching into the chat, if you're in Twitch, we'll be following along. We've got some people monitoring the questions and making sure that Eddie and I get fed the right information.
Nostromo. Someone's from Nostromo. Wow, we got a good connection.
Maybe we can talk about what we've been doing hobby-wise.
You've been doing some hobby, Adam?
I have been doing some hobby. Here is my latest offerings.
Ooh.
I've been doing an Angels of Death kill team for kill team, and I've dark angled them up. You can see there because they come in blue plastic, and I've been adding bits from my...
Yeah, I think those I've got those exact models, and I've been doing them as
undercoated. And a couple of them
Sons of the Phoenix. So they're covered in bones and candles.
As I like, and this is my endeavour
pretty
to
cool.
get properly into it in the next few
we'll have to have a game when you've got them already.
Yeah, I imagine you'll beat me up, but
I'm definitely going to have to show them at some point, I think.
I've been painting
I've already got the two at the minute.
Chapter, the Space Wolves.
Oh, I hate Space Wolves.
And I've just been painting dreadnoughts.
I'm not because I like Blood Angels.
All the dreadnoughts I could find.
Are these for anything?
They are for a team event for Warhammer 40,000. And
yeah,
my contribution
big boys
to the team
he's
is just loads and loads of dreadnoughts.
And why? This is Bran Redmoor's.
They are Bran Redmoor's, yeah.
So, that's a Sat Knight dreadnought. I thought it was just a Sat Knight guy, the Lord.
Perfect. So it'd be nice to just get a sense of where you're all tuning in from. We're seeing we've got people tuning in from Spain and France, a bunch from the US, so welcome. Loads of people from the UK, and even here in Nottingham. And
Nottingham? That's so far afield.
The upside down lands of Australia. So well done for Iron Manning it and staying up all night. That's good. Really lovely to have you all here. If you are tuning in from far-flung places and you want to join in the conversation
sorry
online,
I've got a cold as well.
Social media team.
So sorry.
You see them here for Facebook and Instagram. Why not drop onto those handles and join in the conversation in your own language if you like. Yeah. Perfect. One of the things that we'll be doing, I mentioned previously, is we'll be keeping an eye on Twitch stream. If you want to ask a question, type the word question in block caps and then write your question afterwards, and we'll try and filter through and cover some questions about the things that we're showing to make sure that you get the answers that you need.
Yeah, we'll try and tell you all the important stuff, but there might be some things that you really, really, really want to know, and if anything like that.
Can Sanguinary Guard have their wings back?
Oh yeah, not just generally, not just like
that's my main thing.
That sort of stuff.
Exactly, and
there's only specifically about Warhammer.
Yeah, there's only so much time in the world, right? We reckon we'll be here probably for the next hour and a quarter or so. It just depends how fast we talk and how much.
Show us our models.
We've already told people what we're going to show. We've already done the introductions. People know how to ask questions. I think it might be time to go to our first reveal. Let's go to the grim darkness of the Dark Millennium.
It's got to be, yeah. There he is. We knew this was coming. Oh, I like Katar. Oh. Have they got a full? No. Corsairs? Or is that just like Eldar? Is that Ariel? Yeah, it's pretty Ariel. Oh, they got a new flyer. Cool. Oh, they're getting box sets. And Huron's getting a thing like Tidus gets.
Themed around the Maelstrom. Eddie, how do we even start with this?
This is a fairly sizable release for Warhammer 40,000, and 2 armies
So the
are
extra
getting
bits
a lot of new
to
miniatures. Chaos
change.
Space Marines and the forces of the
your Chaos
Eldari.
guys.
If we start on the diabolically heretical side of things,
Masters
this
the
is
Maelstrom.
Huron Blackheart and the Masters of the Maelstrom. We knew, of course, that Huron Blackheart was on
That's
his
a
way.
band
We
name.
suspected there might have been some other Corsair-looking things along with him, but we can now reveal that he is on his way as part of
A lot of people didn't
character
like
box
him
set,
because he
not
had a whole
unlike the Titus box set
Wallace
we
and
saw
Gromit thing, but I
released
like
over
him.
recent
I think
weeks.
it works.
And it is
He's
a
supposed to
phenomenal
look. It's
set of
chaos.
features, starring, of course, Huron Blackheart. We've seen this guy before a little bit, but just a reminder for those of you who might not have seen him already.
It's always nice to look
He's
at
got a little
the front
guy.
of Ab, the master of the Red Corsairs. There he is with his little demonic helper, the Hammer Dryer.
Looks cool.
And
I like him.
showing what happens when you go on the wrong side of a melter gun, signed courtesy of Captain Andocles of the Star Phantoms chapter. He doesn't come alone, as you mentioned. There is a swathe of interesting characters in his retinue. Why don't we take a look at some of those? First up would be Geryon the Corpse Master. He's the Lord Apothecary of the Red Corsairs. He was the apothecary in the Astral Claws, the chapter that was. And he was part of Huron's machinations to sort of play about with their gene seed and evade the gene seed tithe.
That's juicy.
The whole problem that kicked off the Fourth Quadrant Rebellion in the first place.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, well, exactly.
No, it's him.
So some fun stuff about how he plays in games. Obviously, he is kind of not really got the best interest at heart of the Red Corsairs that he battles alongside. You can see a Red Corsair on the base there, probably
clutching the eighth.
He's like, I can live
he's not going to
this.
get the medical attention that he's particularly looking for.
I'm going to be
He has a special
fine.
rule
Just
basically
give me a
where
bleh.
if a Red Corsair unit near him is at half strength, he can have a command point because he's harvesting the gene seed, and that's what he's looking for. He can also bring models back.
Oh, that's
to the
pretty
unit
cool.
That he is in, so Huron and his retinue are a little bit more durable.
Not the battlefield medic that the Red Corsairs might want.
It's a
but
good
definitely
model, I
one they
like it.
deserve.
I like the whole
Next up
Maelstrom
in line,
guys.
Is Qatar Garrix, who is
I like
the
him.
headsman of the Red Corsairs. This is
A
Huron
former
Blackheart's
chaplain?
personal executioner, and he comes appropriately enough from the Executioner's chapter, one of those chapters swept up in the Fourth Quadrant Rebellion and part of the Badab War. He signed on permanently with Huron Blackheart after the events of that, and now serves as kind of like a warning to any Red Corsairs that might want to step out of line. His presence on the bridge of a vessel will quell even the smallest rumour of insurrection.
Yeah, I think if you turn up with the heads of the previous 7 people who had insurrections, that certainly.
It's very similar to the
in game terms.
Let me get it up.
Surprises that he is very good at killing enemy characters. He has precision and anti.
He's an axe guy
on his weapons.
for chaos.
Nice, and he just looks incredible. Really grim and foreboding character, and
What's he
enough heads
called?
to send the message to anybody who wants to hear it. Next up in this retinue, and if you had Mantis Warriors
Master of
in 2026
Executions,
on your
yeah.
bingo card, congratulations. This is Garlon Soul Eater, who was once a
not coming
Mantis
up.
Warriors librarian. He has signed up with the Red Corsairs, and he is known as the Tyrant's Witch, a formidable psyker, now a Chaos Sorcerer, and he uses his powers to sort of corrupt the minds of those around him. There's stories of him turning the crews of gun decks against their allies and
like they're
firing
hitting
salvos
all
and
the sort of
spending
bases of
friendly
characters.
ships.
I'm
He
assuming there's
covers
going to be a Dark
Huron's
Apostle as well.
Spy Master and manipulates.
It's a cool
all
model.
The sort of schemes around.
I do
There's a lot of
like
schemes
it.
if you're a pirate. To
If you
keep
don't
track
like
of.
the
Well,
current
right.
sorcerer, which isn't
He's also got a really
great,
cool helmet,
but
and the rumor is he hasn't
could
taken it off
change.
for more than a decade, and maybe he's hideously mutated underneath.
Could be.
I mean,
He's
you
got
would
some really
be.
tasty rules in Warhammer 40,000 as well. He has a precision psychic attack that is d6 plus 1 damage, which means you can basically pick out enemy characters in units and just take them out. Basically, mind wrench them out of reality.
Fantastic. Yeah, another great Space Marine,
Pretty
Chaos
useful.
Space Marine, I suppose, within Huron's retinue. The next model is Immortal and is the captain of the Reign of Spite. This is Captain Sargota. She was once a Imperial Navy commander from the Solar Segmentum fleets. Incredibly well placed within the noble houses, long lineage and dynasty behind her.
you know she's
was
cool because she got a
politically
white streak of
outmaneuvered while
hair.
She was injured, and while she was convalescing, sort of her position and station were taken from her. In revenge, she essentially orchestrated the handover of an entire naval dockyard and its ships and crews to a pirate fleet. I wonder whose.
Very piratey.
Exactly, and now she serves on one of the biggest battle cruisers in Huron's fleet, where she oversees a lot of his operations.
Cool, Minnie.
She also joins the battlefield sometimes, which is why she's on this command air here.
Yeah, I think this is my favourite model from this box set.
It's really good.
It's really, really fun. It's like a nice, characterful diorama piece.
Yeah.
The thing that she's floating around on actually is something that she uses during boarding of enemy ships. So it's effectively like a mobile command dais, but she can plug it into the command stations of enemy ships once they've been boarded to take it over.
Yeah.
So she is.
That's
she's
pretty
all in
useful.
for-
I doubt have one of them if I was a pirate.
You can imagine them slotting into all the ports in a plundered ship, and then suddenly all of those data slates behind there come alive with all the information you need to essentially steal an entire battleship.
I like the little bird skulls on the shoulder as well. I like to imagine one of those was a parrot.
There you go.
Life
Yep,
for a split
very
second, I thought
practical.
the real was
Fantastic
yet another
model,
fucking
really
Ultramarine
fancy
mini.
edition.
I
Next one,
mean,
maybe
it
even
is
a lot of
very
people
much
guess what this
in
means.
line
I don't think anyone
with
guessed
what
right.
the Titus one
Yeah,
is.
If you did,
absolutely.
well done.
This is a
Ooh.
Tyrellian dog soldier known as the Enforcer. She is essentially the
Doggo.
warrior that Huron sends out to hunt down those who would dissent against him.
Hello,
and
Gladio, by
maybe
the way.
People naysaying his leadership
Oh,
or
yeah.
reneging on deals. And so the Enforcer hunts them down relentlessly. She'll go as far as it takes to do
That's
so.
a good model.
She takes
I
with
like
her
that.
Plunder, which is the canine-ish, canid-looking creature. That is, if you were wondering, an adolescent Barghisi. If the term Barghisi is familiar to you, that's because in Warhammer 40,000 there's a thing called the hyper-violent Barghisi, which has appeared a couple of times in our lore. This is what they look like before they are big enough to be called hyper-violent. When she first met it, it bit her arm off, which is why she's got that unusual bionic sort of fist thing that you can see.
But they're
there.
friends now, so it's
serves
okay.
Essentially as her little hunter-killer. But she has to keep an eye on it because they're prone to spates of.
I like these
really
because it's
rapid
always like
growth,
a,
and
is this a
eventually
new
become too big to
potential
manage.
army
So
that's
there's
coming in the future as well?
Barghisi, like devastating entire
That'd be
spaceports,
cool.
like run riot.
Dog people.
So she will eventually have to take it to the Warhammer 40,000 equivalent of the woodshed.
Or
Oh.
the space farm.
Oh yeah, we're a happy ending for everybody.
space
in the
farm,
Dark
yes.
Ages of the far future.
Yes,
I
yes,
think what
yes.
this
Space Farm.
miniature does in terms of like telling you about the story of Huron and the Maelstrom itself is indicating that not only have you got like renegade Chaos Space Marines and humans, you also have alien pirates and bounty hunters and all the kind
Yeah.
of ne'er-do-wells and piratical forces from the whole
Usopp
region
and Chopper.
gravitating towards the Maelstrom. So it's not just
That's good. I like that.
Chaos Space Marines. He is the master of this enormous pirate empire within the Maelstrom.
Absolutely, yeah. The forces at his disposal are vast, and
Someone's
if you
pressing
want to
buttons.
Resist the sort of oppressive regime, as they would call it, of the Imperium or other places, then the Maelstrom might be the place for you. And I'm sure he's a very kind-hearted.
It's cool. I like
leader.
it. I really like it.
Speaking of
kind
Huron
of,
Blackheart, he does not come alone.
what they
The
called?
Masters of the Maelstrom are joined by this box set. Everything you see here comes in a big box called the Lords of the Maelstrom.
Nice,
and
the
is
extra
essentially
bits
the
in
heart
there.
Of a Red Corsairs army. It's got loads of great models in it, including some brand new ones. Let's take you through what you can
Is
see.
there like
here.
an extra
Yeah, so
sprue?
some of these miniatures, all of these miniatures, will
that's-
actually
some of
be
those are
available
different.
separately. Some of these are old miniatures with upgrade kits. Some of them are brand new miniatures.
Yeah.
These are Raiders. They are a brand new miniature set. These are effectively the elite of the Red Corsairs.
So Red
They
Corsairs
sit
are getting their
somewhere
own
between
army,
legionaries
basically.
and
That's pretty
chosen
cool.
In terms of power and hierarchy, and they are the veterans.
It's about
of
time.
the
It's been like,
Allied
what,
Wars and the various different
Ninth
conflicts
edition
within
was the last time they did
as
anything
far
with them?
As in-game, they are a really useful little unit. They have infiltrate.
There's
they have
some
3
cool
reach.
models.
They have a really respectable combat stat line, and they've also got things like melter guns and power fists and stuff that you can put into the unit. So
People
a
are saying
really
perfect
useful
Night Lords.
all-round
I mean,
and they're
yeah.
not just great in
Hope
terms
it's
of
all
game
about with
models, but
regular
also the
Chaos
models
Space
are
Marines.
fantastic.
I'm
Like,
sure
this
it would
is the
be.
personification of what it means to be a renegade Chaos Space Marine. You're
'Cause
existing outside of the
it's gonna
structures
be
of
like
the,
body,
the Mighty
torso,
Space Marine legions.
then
So a
arms,
lot of their
shoulder
wargear that's
pads,
scavenged and,
backpack.
the plate armor and so on is sort of cobbled together. They've got lots of trappings on them from various battles.
And they're
enemies
very
they fought. It's really
more
quite exciting to
normal
see.
Space
Lots of things
Marine-y.
like pelts
The
of wild
Renegades as
animals,
opposed to
yeah,
Chaos
absolutely.
Marines, I
As I
think
like to call
that's
it.
pretty cool.
Good, very good.
They're not
There's
tainted
more,
by the
within
warp
this
yet.
box set. Next up, you can see the Chaos Terminator squad. These are the Chaos Terminators.
That's just
that you
normal
already
ones.
know and love if you're
Yeah.
a Chaos Space Marine player. The
I mean, more in
difference
terms of
here
rules.
being
Oh, I
they
see.
have,
Maybe. We'll
new
see.
sculpted detail shoulder pads, which included within this.
Oh,
box
they
set.
got a sprue
So
as well.
essentially,
Sculpted
you can
shoulders.
tailor them to look like Red Corsairs. Obviously,
Hope it's
Chaos Terminators
not
are
locked
fantastic
Red
use for
Corsairs.
your living
Corsairs.
your life,
That,
via
yeah.
the medium of ship
Maybe.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of Chaos Terminators that show up in some of the Red Corsair Black Library stories as well.
Yeah,
so this is
absolutely.
very thematic for them to have.
Maybe.
I think they
It
look
makes
great in,
sense if they
Red
did
and
do
Black
it
as
as
well.
a
It's
a really striking
Red
colour.
Corsair
Good colour.
Codex.
Yeah, absolutely. Similarly, you have the Legionaries. This is the same kit that you
Normal
might be used to,
Legionaries.
from the other Chaos Space Marine legions. And again,
with
there's
extra
upgrades
bits.
that tailor them towards looking like Red Corsairs. So you've got these fantastic Red Corsair shoulder pads, and then you've got some other details as well.
They look
We'll
cool.
show what they look like in a
I
moment.
really dig these
But
miniatures.
You've got like heads and some.
There's like ammo belts,
extra
aren't there, and
bits pieces,
trophies and
Oh,
that
there
sort
you
of
go.
stuff.
There you
That
go.
is the whole upgrade kit. So you can see there, you've got the Terminator shoulder pads, you've got the shoulder pads that fit Legionaries, but they'll also fit anything.
Bare
in that
hands
kind of
and
like
stuff like
that.
size of
Absolutely.
armor. If you want to have some like Raptors or something, you could do those too. You've
That's
got
cool.
some really cool unhelmeted heads
I think
there.
the heads are the most exciting.
The heads
bit
are
for
cool,
me
yeah.
out
I mean,
of
it's
this.
all-
transfers are
And then
nice.
there's some big transfers as well.
I mean,
If you
it's
want
really
have,
cool
like,
to
rhinos
see
and black raiders
Chaos
and
heads that
things have,
aren't
appropriate
mutated.
iconography on it. You can do that too.
Yeah, what you get with the transfer sheet is way more than
I think
you
that's
get in
fun.
just the models that come in the set.
I mean, the
So
one
if
that's
you're
got the
interested in a big Red Corsair
the
force,
grill
that would be
still
awesome.
on the head. That would make a really
Right,
good head
that was
for
all, pretty exciting, but it's not done. There's also
for the
Red
Iron
Guardsmen.
Warriors.
These are the exact Straight Guardsmen you know and love. They're just in red and working for the Red Corsairs, and they kind of exemplify all of those people that flock to Huron's banner.
Are we?
Sort of try and
Are they
survive
edging
outside of
us
the
for
ditches
actual
of
proper Traitor
the
Guardsmen
Militarum and the Imperium at large.
as an army?
And we've got one more miniature, I think. for
Yeah,
the Red
and
Corsair.
so,
really
so
want that.
bringing up the Rhea is actually my favourite model
Ooh,
out of this launch.
Reeve
I think
Captain.
the Reeve Captain really just
He looks
hits
cool.
home on what it means to be a renegade Chaos
It's
Space Marine.
similar to the Chaos
It's a
Lord.
fantastic model. He's a multi-part kit, but the one right in the centre is the one that really gets me. Loads of detail, loads of plunder. He's picked up bits and pieces from lots of battles, and he just looks incredible. And he's quite good in the game, right?
Yeah, so there's loads. Of
I mean, the
options
face
kit
on the
as well.
bareheaded
So
one is
this
a
a
bit
multi-part
funny,
plastic kit. You've got a choice of
but I
two
like
different
that.
combat weapons. They've got different stats in the game. You've got a sword and you've got a mace. You can have a plasma pistol if you want him to have, or you can
Very
have a bolt
clean.
pistol. He is a very good addition to your army. He is a Reeve Captain. So I suppose might indicate that he's either maybe a veteran of
I don't
the
need new
Astral
miniatures.
Claws, maybe one of the previous captains, or maybe someone who's risen through the ranks.
I
of the
still
Red
have a
Corsair.
whole
So
Emperor's
he is
Children army I
somewhere
haven't started yet.
thereabouts
So
of Chaos Lord level in terms of his abilities.
And
He's a
other
little bit
army,
less
Jesus,
fighty
oh, you
than
don't
a
wanna
Chaos
know.
Lord, but he brings more to the table in terms of abilities that you can give to your unit. He has Infiltrate, which means that he's a great addition to some of those Red Corsair squads we talked about before. So he can be right up in the enemy's face early on in the game. He
I like
can
him.
also give you loads of abilities when you charge into close combat, and you've got lots of stuff across the Chaos Space Marine Codex that allows you to have things like run and charge, so they stack really nicely with those. So you can get an extra point.
I
of
like that
strength,
he's
an
got
extra
someone
point
in
of
his
AP,
hand that
and
he's
rerolling
stolen
charges,
from
which is
somebody.
nice, on that unit, which might be
He's
infiltrating right into the
pickpocketed
enemy's face,
somebody.
which is a pretty tasty little combo.
Nice.
And worth saying as well, with all of the stuff that we've just talked through there, you can absolutely do this as a Red Corsairs army if you want. If you want to go all in for Huron Blackheart and go with the red and black
Bloody-o.
of that force, you can. Or you can add these into any other Chaos Space Marine army. So if
There you
you've got an
go.
existing Black Legion army and you want to sprinkle a little bit of Red Corsairs.
It's
into
not
it,
just
or
Red
team them up with
Corsairs.
the Alpha Legion, you can
It's
absolutely
just
do
Chaos Space Marines.
Perfect. We are not even halfway done with the stuff.
That's pretty
for
cool.
This Maelstrom section. We've talked about Huron and the Red Corsairs. In that
It's,
video that we saw at the beginning, we saw
That's only
another
half
You
of the
land
favorites we have.
there?
Exactly. So let's go and look at Prince Iriel and his Eldritch Raiders. So a little bit of a lore dump for you if you're unaware. Prince Iriel is a renowned Eldari hero. He is the saviour of Craftworld Iandon when it was
Iandon.
under attack from the Hive fleets of the Tyranids.
It's yellow and
really,
blue. It's the same thing.
Solidified his sort of place in legend. But the thing he loves is to range across the galaxy, reaving, and at the head of
models.
this army, the Eldritch Raiders. This is a box set. Everything you see on here is included within it, and we'll take you through and have a quick look at all of those things. First out of the gates are the Corsair
Corsairs.
Skyreavers.
So
Yeah,
proper
this
Corsairs.
is a really useful little unit for Corsairs. You can include these in a Corsair army or in a entirely Craftworld
Corsair
army.
army.
And this is a really flexible, fast-moving unit. You
But
can kit
part
them
of the
out in all
Eldari,
sorts
I
of different ways.
see.
They come as standard with Corsair blades and Shuriken pistols, which is a great little kind of.
So you can have a whole
pick on
Corsair
the
army,
isolated
but it's
enemy
still an
units. We've
Eldar
also got
army.
the option to include quite a lot of different special weapons in the unit. So if you
I
want to make
see.
them
And you can put them in the
anti-infantry,
Eldar,
you've got
presumably.
shredders and flamers. If you want to make them anti-tank, you can put fusion guns and stuff like that in the unit. And they've got a lot of movement abilities. They come with scouts, deep strike,
I got Mohawk.
and a reactive
Took
movement ability
Mohawk
as
versus
standard, which
Mohawk.
means they're gonna
Who
be
would
very
win?
hard to pin down. So they've got a phenomenal kind of objective game.
Yeah, they really play into that sort of hit and withdraw aspect of
Yes.
the Eldritch Raiders that makes them
Do
famous.
like the Eldar.
Um,
I've got a
also
bunch of
a
Eldar
lovely
stuff I
callback
want
to
to paint
some
as well, but I
very,
haven't.
Classic Rogue Trader era artwork. If you're of a certain vintage like me, you'll recognise it, and it feels quite nice to see that sort of
There's
imagery
Dark Elder helmets
into
and
the
gear in
modern
there as
Warhammer
well.
40,000 tabletop. In a similar vein, in terms of the flexibility and the way they fight,
cool.
there's another unit within this set. You'll be familiar with them if
Void
you've maybe
Reavers.
played Kill Team over the last few years. These are the Corsair Void Reavers. So it's the same kit returned, and they'll be in the
Oh, it's the
Eldritch
same
Raiders
kit.
box. Tell us about the Void Readers, if you would.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
so
they're
the
doing it
Corsair
as a...
Void Readers
Oh,
are your kind of line.
So it's not a kill team
Corsair
anymore,
infantry.
technically,
It's a
but
really
I'm
flexible
assuming you
kit.
can still
build
take
them
them.
as either a kind of battle line version or as an elite version. They have loads of different weapon options, so they're one of the most flexible kits in Warhammer 40,000 in terms of
A lot of people
different
liked it. I
range of
remember
stuff
that.
You can give them. You can make them very anti-infantry or very anti-character or very good at shooting or combat or taking out tanks or whatever you need. Really,
I mean, it's a cool model. I
the
mean, that
bits
one's
in the kit
posed
are
for
really interchangeable, with the other new Corsair
posed for
stuff that's on its way
gameplay,
as well.
kneeling
So,
down like
it
that.
was already a really flexible unit, and now it's even more flexible in terms of how you can build it. And if you are a fan of
Actually, you
kit
can't
matches
see
put
his
together,
head,
this
so
is
you can't shoot him
a
around the
brilliant
corner.
Yeah, absolutely. To lead these all into battle, there are 2 heroes within the Eldritch Raiders set. The first of which is
Ooh.
Karseth. Karseth is a Void Dreamer. What is a Void Dreamer, I hear you ask? Well, a Void Dreamer is a type of Eldar Seer.
Where is Calgar and
Karseth
Phobos armor?
specialises in being able to sense
Asking the real
fluctuations
questions,
in
chat.
the fabric of reality. So
I imagine it's like the Phobos one.
Detect
There you
warp
go.
translations.
Well, the kill
that
team
you
box
come
is
out
just
of
a regular
the
box
warp
missing
with your
upgrades,
fleet,
sprue or
and
something.
you're
Yeah.
straight into the gun sights of the Eldritch Raiders sat waiting for you. That's quite the boon.
It looks
for,
kind of like
Illidan and
the old
his team.
Bone Slinger.
Also,
Bone Slinger?
Karseth
Psycho Mantis
specifically
looking motherfucker.
coordinates the
True.
efforts of the Eldritch Raiders, making sure that they're all like working in synchronicity and firing together. You can
cool.
imagine them sort of speaking into the minds of the warriors and making sure that everybody's all on the same page.
Yeah, so a really useful unit in game terms as
The
well.
only issue I
This
have
is
with
an
Eldar
Psyker and
stuff
comes
is
with
that
a
it's
ranged,
so
psychic
firmer.
attack, like Psychic Storm style thing.
Like
But
all
the
those
reason that they're
bits
really
of
hot is the special rules that come with them. One of them
fabric
is the
on the
ever
back
useful
that's just
ability
gonna
to stop
snap
enemy units deploying
immediately.
within 12, so they can see the future. You can never catch
Yeah.
them
It looks
off
cool,
guard,
though.
sort of thing. That's great to put on your backfield objective or to just screen out large portions of the battlefield to stop things like Corsair Terminators teleporting
exactly
behind
so.
you. That's not a thing that would be good for you. The other ability that they have is if you manage to hit an enemy unit with their psychic attack, all the rest of the Corsair
Dream of the
requirements,
Elderness. Yes,
hit
it's
with an extra
Dream.
bonus strength. So it's a really good synergistic unit to help the rest of your
Oh my
Corsairs
god,
hit
that is.
hard.
I want to get one
And
just to
of
paint
course,
it up to look
they
like
are
Dream.
led by none other
Get a
than
little
Prince
red ruby in
Iriel.
his hand.
Prince Iriel is the outcast prince
There
of
he
Ireland, and
is.
he's returned now with his Corsair fleet to deliver his
There
craft
he
world of
is.
annihilation once again by leading an army into the Maelstrom. He's
Prince
equipped with
Uriel.
the Spear of Twilight, a very famous weapon. It's extremely dangerous. He's on his eye, that bionic is
When
called
was
the
his
Eye of
model
Ra. It's
originally
powerful in
made?
its
That
own
must have been
right.
a long
He's
time
a
ago now.
devastating combat leader as well as an actual leader of warriors.
Yeah, so a really.
What I will say is it
really
is a real
phenomenal
shame that
miniature,
we
right?
don't
Like,
get
it
the
looks really
boxes
cool.
of
It's definitely,
this guy versus this guy
put a
anymore.
great glow
We're
on
getting
this, but
battle
still
forces, which
very
is
recognisable
nice,
Prince Uriel,
but
who
I
absolutely
kind of
love.
like to have the start of
In
two
game
armies.
terms, he makes a phenomenal
over
either
cool
leader
coat is
for
always a good look,
Corsair army,
yes.
or you can put him into a standard
Yes,
Craft World
true.
force. And he has a very useful ability to redeploy.
And he's
some of
got
your units before the
faces
game
on his
starts.
knees.
And he also
That's
has
how you
some
know he's
boosters
a
to whatever
character.
unit he's joined. So just a really good
He
all-round
means
leader
business.
and a combat stat line that punches up with some of the best of the Eldar heroes. He's got a really nice damage 3 weapon, which is the sweet spot for killing a lot of the
really
best units in Warhammer 40,000 these days. So he can rough and tumble with the best of them, really.
And he's got 2 banners, and banners are the best.
Yeah.
He's
That's
got
how
2
you
of them.
know he's good.
He
right?
did.
It
It
comes
did
with
always
2
have 2
banners.
banners. I remember that.
Obviously, the other thing that you might have seen in that video and in the army shot that we
It's,
saw was this.
yeah.
This is the Starfang. It is an a Eldari unit which is designed to go alongside the Corsair Raiders as they fight.
It's not a
Pretty
transport.
good in its own right. Eddie, can you talk us through it?
I absolutely can. So this is a really useful little utility unit. So first and foremost, it has a fairly
It's,
respectable
what they
amount of
called
firepower.
the
Its firepower
Eldar
is
ones.
geared to killing heavy infantry
Void?
level stuff. So
Stoller or
83,
something? I don't know.
strength 6, 2 damage stuff. So it's a space marine killer in terms of its damage output. There's a disintegrator cannon you can see on the front of it there. But one of the other things it does for your army, which is really useful, is it can make one of your infantry units have stealth. So its grenade launchers can basically like cover the one of your infantry.
Kind of
units
like a
in,
Venom, but I'm thinking Void Weaver.
cover
That's
and
what I'm
give them,
thinking of.
effectively, it makes them harder to hit, which is really useful because
It's
a lot of your armies
similar
are quite
shape.
fragile.
Yeah, it's a Void
Nice.
Weaver, but
One of
with
things that's really
out the
exciting about this
transport.
is it is a twofer kit, as we sometimes call them. Essentially, the kit that's in the box, and eventually it will be available separately, also makes the Viper, which I believe is
Ah.
will live under. This is a classic.
It's
Eldari,
ancient, the
vehicle,
Viper.
which has been around for 30 years or more.
It's longer than 30 years.
Oh, you've aged me terribly. Yeah, this is.
Is that
classic
missing
light
from the
attack
store,
vehicle.
actually?
It's 2 crew. It's got that turret on the back. and it's got a range of weapons available to it.
No,
right?
it's still there.
Yeah, so this is the updated Viper. It will be recognizable to anybody who's had a Viper in their army. It still retains a lot of the key features that you'll recognize, but
This lad.
some of the weapon options are a little
So
bit less
old.
than they used to be. It still has the option of things like shuriken cannon. You can
So
have a star
old.
cannon on there. You can have a bright lance. Underneath the Viper, you also have the option now to put an Eldar missile launcher on it. So that gives you the potential to make it quite a good anti-tank unit. You can put 2 of these in a unit. So you can
God,
have
the new
two
one does look a
axes,
lot better,
2
yes.
Eldar missile launcher shooting into something becomes quite formidable.
That's awesome.
Or you can get it out for pretty good anti-infantry with shuriken cannons and star cannons and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so here we got a really good look at it in person on the desk. It is a fantastic looking kit. It's got that classic silhouette that you expect. If you build it the right way, the turret has some play, so you can maneuver a little. This is an heavy metal painted one, and I don't want to get in trouble,
touch it,
so I'm not going to fiddle with it too enthusiastically.
Heavy metal
and
kind of
again, like, I guess
hit and
the
miss a lot
difference is,
recently, especially when it comes to
the, sort of
faces.
positioning of the turrets and the way they work.
But everything else
It's
is
a
always
really
top
just
tier.
a
I mean, they're
fantastic,
better paintings than me. Don't get me wrong.
innovation on a very classic
But-
design. The Viper's been with us for a long time. and it
Yeah, I mean
feels
the current
like a-
the current Viper model is lovely, but it's definitely
Absolutely.
showing its age a little bit around the edges. So the
It's
Christmas
very
detail,
old.
some of the posability, the weapons, and that sort of thing. The engines now match some of the things like the jet bike engine, so
Yeah.
it fits really neatly and nicely into an Eldari army.
inside the cockpit's detailed.
Lovely,
paint
yeah.
that and then seal the canopy in.
I mean,
with
like you
sort
said,
of
it's
like
30 years old at this
plastic. And you've got options for the crew. This one with the.
There's
the
people
Starfan
here
has
that
sort of crew
it's
that's
older
more
than.
sort of
Got a
Corsair
Corsair, yeah.
oriented, and then you've got the classic sort of craftwood helmets on the Viper, but you can
Not me, though.
match as you see fit.
Yeah.
Really exciting. Where do you learn about all of these exciting Corsairs, both the Red Corsairs and the Eldritch Raiders? Well,
It's older
of
than
course,
you, I
in a
know.
book for that. And here we go.
Yeah,
This
wow.
Is, the
that's a single thing.
The Maelstrom, Lair of the Tyrant, into
Is
the
this not
Nightmare
part of the
Realm.
500 worlds then?
If you are familiar with Titus, which just released, I think, this is a very similar idea. So it's 4 books contained in a slipcase that detail all of the events that we've talked about and the characters and things.
I
and
assumed the
it's a brilliant
500 worlds
sort of
was the
place
whole
to play
thing.
Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot to go through here, just like the 500.
But I
Worlds
guess
book
it's
we've just seen released.
just
There's
the
loads of
500
good
worlds
stuff
is
in
its
here.
own campaign.
Lair
The
of
Maelstrom's
Tyrant
going
is
to be
your
on campaign,
lore
and
book,
maybe
so
another
this
one.
dives into the history and environments and all the
I hope there's
locations
another
within
one.
the Maelstrom in a level of detail that we've never
On the lead
seen
up
before.
to
We find out
summer
about
when we're
the
going to
key
get the
planets
11th
within that
box set,
region, the bits that Huron is in control of, the
which
various
is
different
supposed to be
battles
Blood
that are
Angel themed, so
ongoing.
I'm very
It's definitely
happy.
not a unified
Even if it's not going to be
empire,
like,
there
it's
are
going to be
lots of
chapter
factions
agnostic, but
all
Blood
playing
Angel
for their
themed, which is
part
very
and trying to
cool.
carve out their little pirate empires within the Maelstrom.
Hopefully that means we
It
get
also tells you
wings.
all about the Red Corsairs and
I need
particularly
wings.
Huron's bodyguard
I
and
miss
his
wings.
retinue that follows him round, and Prince Uriel and his Corsairs as they battle against the Red Corsairs for dominance.
Yeah,
Is one
each
of those
these
books just the
does play an
detachments?
event, for example,
That's
Crucible
crazy.
Champions
That's
quite
a
exciting because it
lot of space for a
encourages you to
detachment.
sort of create your own hero, stamp your own identity on them, which is a thing I love to do whenever I'm playing a game of Warhammer 40,000. I imagine the commander of my army is me, so that's very exciting. And obviously,
I think you'd make a great player.
cooler than me because he's a Dark Angels company master normally.
Boo.
But
Not real angels.
You can sort of get different war gear and different specials
I'm not
and all of
salty.
that stuff to make really exciting.
I've
and
never been
unique characters,
salty.
and then use them in your games, which is great.
Yeah. Lair of the Tyrant detachments, as you might have guessed, has some detachments in. So one of the things that's worth saying about this book is, much like will happen with the 500 Worlds Titus book, all of the rules that are for match play will also be made available online and in the Warhammer 40,000 app. But you can
Okay.
also find them in print in Lair of the Tyrant. And there's some new detachments for Chaos Space Marines, as you'd imagine, and for Eldari. So one of those detachments allows you, for example, to make a very heavily Corsair-themed Eldari force.
Perfect. Raid and Ruin lets you put together campaigns that involve things like ship-to-ship actions and stuff. So really exciting. Right. So this is not the only stuff that we've got to talk about with regards to the Maelstrom. We also have some new battalions. There's 2 of these. The first one is the Drukari battalion. And it's packed full of, let's be honest, raiders.
It's all right.
Who are
They
looking
love
to,
piracy. They
It's
look at
okay.
the original Eldar pirates, the Drukari here, and this is a very heavily witch-themed box. So
Yeah,
if you're looking
absolutely.
to start a Drukari army and you've got an eye on the gladiatorial pits of Comora, this is a great place to start.
It includes a succubus, 2 venoms, 3 reavers, 5 hellions, and 10 witches. So loads of that witch-themed stuff that you were referring to before, and a really good bedrock for a new Drukari army, or just the reinforcements if you're already deep into that collection. There's another one.
Yeah, it's all
This is,
old models.
The Leagues of Votan
Ooh!
battalion, and that includes
those are new
the
models.
Memnir strategist and 6
It's just the
Sarkin
bikes that are old.
Steeljacks, for them to construct
Quote,
and
unquote,
build
old.
of, and then 3 Hernkin pioneers to sort of range ahead.
They got the tall robots and the little robot.
Ideal for exploring the Maelstrom and bolstering an existing
Cool.
Votan force if you want to.
And kind of a nod as well. That's a lot of the lore in this Maelstrom book.
So I
is
suspect that
relevant
means
to a
we're going to
big
get to
chunk of
see
Warhammer
every
40,000.
different
There are
faction's going to
loads
get
of
a
people
kind of
within
one.
the
Maybe not
Maelstrom
every
kind of
like
carve
Space
out
Marine
little mini
chapter,
empires.
but
There's all
every
freebooters and Drakari and Leagues of Votan and all
sort of
sorts
thing.
stuff.
Like
And there's opportunities in there. It's like
maybe
it's
not.
Sort of untested
For those with the
space.
will to claim it.
Exactly
Yeah.
so.
Maybe not. No.
Fantastic. So we have been keeping an eye on some questions, and I've got some that I will just quickly fire out here. So Prime Mod Hale asks, will Huron and his mates be available separately later, or will we be condemned to a character box?
So Huron is in the character box in the same way that Titus is. So
Yeah,
there's 2 big boxes coming out initially for the Red Corsairs. One of them is the Red Corsairs Army, which is the Reeve captain leading a force.
So you
of
have to get
Corsairs,
everything.
And the other one is Huron and his bodyguard. Everything in the big battalion box will be available separately, but I think for the moment Huron's staying with his retinue.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one is, can Huron's retinue join another unit?
I
think it's a unit in its own
so.
right and
It's a great
operates
question.
independently. That is a good question.
I don't think so.
Perfect. And then
Maelstrom
question, I think,
replace
regarding
combat
the
patrol?
Viper
No.
from,
No.
Jock, 4020 is the turret interchangeable? I think if you built it carefully, you might be able to interchange the weapons, but I think once you've built the turret, that's your lot. So
I haven't built it, so I don't know for sure.
Perfect.
You could certainly have a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep your questions coming in. We'll try and answer
Where's
some as we
Cyprus?
go through. One last one from Afexipe. If I've said your name wrong, I apologise. And your question is, which factions can be played in the Maelstrom campaign? Absolutely loads of them. There's an enormous list which I won't go through. But
Not
includes
all
things
of
like
them.
Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves,
Oh.
Freeboots would be great in there. Loads of things. The idea is that you can get involved and have good fun. So
So the Maelstrom's going to be its own campaign.
Explore the Maelstrom and this terribly.
So it was
violent
500 worlds just a
environment,
separate thing they just did?
I'm quite sure that we will.
Because
list the
we
factions
needed more
in the
Ultramarines, I
Warhammer
guess?
community,
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can decide for yourself. I think it's almost everything in Warhammer 40.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we've left somebody out, to be honest.
Or was it a case that they went,
Thank you very much.
we need to
We
record
need
correct
to
because everybody's pissed off?
Press on. So,
There is a little bit more Warhammer 40,000 later on as well.
yeah, that's fair to say. We are about to go to the Mortal Realms, but there's more Warhammer 40,000 later. But let's go to the Mortal Realms now.
Well, the rumor that keeps coming up is Peter Turbo, but I don't think we'll get anything like that.
Solve all of our problems by increasing the bone tithe. The hell I can't.
More bones! These guys are cool. The Ozark Bone Reapers, I think they're called. Oh! Skelly Ninjas. Skelly Ninjas are cool. I mean, I do aesthetically really like this army. That will see Peter Turbo. I don't think so. We might do. There's a lot of rumors, let's put it that way. Yeah, that's more a thing for launch of 11th. 11th is supposedly Blood Angels and Orcs. But we'll see. I mean,
Armies of the Bone Tithe received
Gilliman
much
came
desired
before the
reinforcements to this
campaign
huge
in
glut
the
of models
Triarch,
for the Ossiarch
Triumvirate.
Bone Reapers. Eddie,
Even.
Let's talk about what we saw, I guess.
Yeah, so this is a
But yeah, no, I
fairly
like these
large
Bone
drop
Reapers.
of new miniatures
Absolutely.
for the
Skelly
Ossiarch Bone
boys.
Reapers. A lot of these units fill a really nice niche in the army that players have been looking
You know, it'd be
forward
really
to
cool
for
if you
a long
wanted to
time.
do like a
We start with the
construct
Mortex
archer in
Triaxis.
D&D.
We saw
This would be a great
Ossiarch
model.
with a bow quite a while back, actually, in a Warhammer Underworlds warband.
Canaan's Hunters, I think.
Absolutely, and I think
Ossiarch
way back
Bone
then,
Reapers,
people were
that's it.
speculating, of
I
course,
do
Nagash
like
didn't
these
make just
models.
one bow, right? That would be a really strange thing to have done. He did.
Thing
in
is,
fact,
I
make
go
loads
back
of
and
bows.
forth when
He
it
was given
comes to
his
Warhammer
his
Fantasy and
phalanxes,
Age of
and now
Sigmar. I was
you
like,
have
oh, I like
entire
this army. Oh, I like
units
this
of
army. Oh, I
bowmen
like
in
this
your
army.
Ossiarch
And then I
Bone
just
Reapers
never
army. And then there's
like
some really
them
fun
enough to
stuff
buy
for
them.
you in terms of how you
Or
approach building an army. You can
I
have
buy
a
them and
very
go, actually, no, I
shoot
don't like
army,
these.
which has never really been an option before. You can imagine.
Did
loads
what
of
I
these
did
backed
with
up
the
by,
Wood Elves
your
for
Vortex
Old
corners and
World.
things.
Yep.
You can absolutely
Ah.
dominate the shooting phase. They've got some
I should've
really
got Chaos
tasty rules
Warriors.
in game. They've got a very respectable damage output with 2 shots each and a point of rend.
But
in
no,
there.
those are cool. I
and
like
one of the
them.
things to watch on them is those little.
They got
braziers
bow and
that
eye
follow the unit
patches.
around.
Yeah, these are my favourite guys in the kit, really. I like the little familiars and stuff. And these are Balefire Braziers you see in the bottom left of your screen right now. They're essentially tokens. What happens is if you fire the whole unit,
I didn't
at
even
one
know I could
enemy,
do that with my mouth.
Once you're done, you place one of these Balefire braces on that unit, and that has a few effects. The most significant, from my point of view, is that that unit, while it's got that token on, can't heal wounds or get models back. And so instead, you take that token off.
He's got a little
and I
bone
rely as
bird.
a Stormcast Eternal player on repairing
Skelly
damage to
bird.
my unit, and so it's quite damning. In addition to it looking fantastic with those shrieking faces.
Yeah, awesome. And it's interesting to see them with actual strings on their bows, because they never do that in fantasy usually.
One eye look that they've got as well. So obviously Nagash
Got like
forges.
a bonus eye in their forehead.
Yeah, well, but it's maybe
That's
not quite
true,
as
they do
effective,
have
so
the
maybe
one in
it's
their
like
forehead.
right at the
It
top
moved
where
up.
you'd, hold an arrow. I don't know if that makes you better at shooting an arrow.
Do they
but
even see through eyes
I don't know.
anymore?
Who
I
knows,
don't know.
right? So, but anyway, they're quite good at shooting. You'll definitely see some in Ossiarch.
I really like
Very
them.
fun stuff with your.
Yeah, absolutely.
The ninjas
next
look
up is
really cool.
another
I want to see them.
unit,
Yeah,
for the army.
these.
These are the Mortis Reapers.
I feel like
They are
that's
dread
more of a
assassins from the realm
thing.
death, and they use their Reaper's blades to butcher
It always
the
gets
enemy,
bowstrings. No, it doesn't.
specifically enemy
No, it
heroes.
doesn't.
Yes, so
Not
this
all
is
of them.
a very useful unit for taking
I've got,
on enemy heroes and kind of those little isolated useful units. Like
what they
wizards
call
and,
it,
priests and stuff like that.
the water
They've got two
elves.
things that help them out with
So I
that.
use
They've
some
got
of them to
hero
make
on all of their weapons.
wood
They
elves.
also have the ability
And they
to
don't have
effectively
strings.
teleport through pieces of terrain. So you can move
LRL
towards the
do.
terrain feature, you can pick the unit up
Maybe.
and you can redeploy it on the other side of that terrain feature. So you can catch out
But the bone
enemies
dudes
that are
do
trying
now.
to hide behind cover.
Well, it's a
and
But I
do
like
that.
these.
Right, you know,
Yeah.
parts behind a piece of terrain. and these
Ninjas.
guys burst out the other side.
What
That's
else
quite
might be
nasty.
too old? Maybe.
And fantastic in terms of imagery.
Maybe.
This is a very different look and feel to what we expect from the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, who are
New
normally quite
mandrakes.
dominated and sort of militaristic.
Yeah, they used to sort of frowned upon.
I mean,
within,
kind
some
of.
the Ossiarch, circles, isn't it? Some of
Yeah,
the,
it's not
But I
quite
like
the way it
them.
should
I
be done.
really
doesn't seem
like
like
them.
it's fair. Like they are all about rules, aren't they?
But their boss makes the calls. So
That's true. That's true.
If you want to do a construct
So,
rogue,
to lead these
There you go.
new infantry models into combat, we have a new hero. This is a Liege Mortec.
He's
a
cool.
Good, solid
He's got
battle-line,
a bird. That's not
leader
all
to
bones.
accompany the troops. And he has some good abilities in the game.
Yeah, so I mean, first and
That's
foremost,
how you know
he
he's
is
important.
Useful to have an infantry
His
hero,
bird
you can
has
use him to
flesh
wander around with
and
your infantry
feathers.
phalanxes. He has a particularly cool little ability, which is that if he is in combat with an enemy unit,
He's got
and
a big
activate him
chin.
to fight, another unit nearby can fight or shoot into the same combat, and they get +1 to their hit rolls if they do. That stacks
Hey,
really
Mark
nicely
Annius,
with
anyway.
that new
Welcome,
archer
welcome,
unit,
welcome.
Because effectively you can charge in with this guy, and then they back him up with a rain of arrows
Yeah,
as he
absolutely.
slams into the enemy
Ooh.
forces. So it's quite a kind of thematic look. He also stacks really nicely with your phalanxes of spearmen and line.
I saw there's a
infantry and
chariot
stuff,
as
so
well.
it's
Where
a
they're going to
really
show the
solid, dependable hero
chariot.
to put in the military
Yeah,
army.
if you're going for Mortec Guard and Triaxes and Crawlers, you want a couple of these to keep everything operating at maximum efficiency. I think that +1 bonus on those to hit rolls is really going to
Give
great.
chariot.
Speaking of heroes, we also saw the Liege Cavalos on War Chariot. I feel like
Oh, it's
this
just
is
a
like
dude.
something that Nagash dreamed and recalled from a world that was, back from ancient Nehekara with their,
Are there
renowned
any?
for their
There's
chariots
not
and
many chariots, is there?
you
Or
see a
is there
nightmare
none?
vision brought to the mortal realms. Amazing.
In Age of
so
Sigmar.
the Ossiarchs are very much Nagash's idea of an ideal army. So obviously twisted through the filter of the god of death. But these are very powerful units in the game. There's two versions of this kit. There's one that you can make into a hero chariot, and there's also a kind of standard chariot. The hero chariot is a really, really durable unit.
I like
They both
chariots.
are, but the hero one has 12 wounds,
That's a lot of
3 up
killing.
save and a ward save. So even without being fast and having lots of other abilities, he's just really hard to kill and get rid of. But he stacks
Just
really
have him
nicely
spin
with
around the back
sinking
lines,
in alongside the
stabbing.
chariots, because he's got some abilities that let them kind of grind into the enemy units even after they've charged in and done all their kind of damage and impact hits and stuff. You can keep just doing stacks and stacks and stacks of mortal wounds into enemy units.
Cool.
Yeah, the idea here, I think, will
I like
definitely
the
be hammer and anvil strike,
not
right? You use your,
horses.
Undying
Kinda
legions
like
to hold the enemy
dragons,
on the
maybe?
anvil and then just smash them away with the hammer of the cavalry units and
Yeah, I
chariots.
think all the stuff coming out for Ossiarchs just gives them loads of new options.
Options, yeah,
Because I think
totally.
there's been a couple of ways to play Ossiarchs for a little while now, but now you've got opened up a whole swathe of new things.
That's
like
the normal
you could imagine,
chariot.
Armies that lean really heavily into
Dracos,
chariots
maybe.
and have
Maybe.
death riders and stuff accompanying them.
Yep.
You can imagine armies that lean really heavily into shooting. A combined arms list now looks really tasty.
They are-
There's loads of
they are
stuff,
nice, I do
which
like
just
them.
opens up a new toolbox of
I
stuff
am not a
to
big
get
fan
Absolutely.
of
What if you
this
wanna do
whip,
something completely
though.
different? Well, we
'Cause
are
that's gonna
introducing,
snap in
the
no time.
Null Myriad Phalanx.
Hmm.
This is the personal army of Arkan the Black, and it's an army of renown. So if you want to take
That is a lot of
Ossiarch
old
Bone Reaper's
models.
army with a slightly different feel, essentially you.
If you're
don't
gonna
have the
start
bonus
one, I
to
think-
all the
I
units
think
you would normally
maybe
do, but you get
that's
some
the way to
distinct
do it.
bonuses. Essentially, Arcan and the wizards that accompany him.
I do like the terrain, particularly like the thing behind.
Better, and the whole army gets some arcane protection to sort of reduce the incoming magic that would come your way. And it's super thematic. Arcan's like one of the top wizards of death, right?
Yeah, he's also been
He's a
part of
top
Warhammer
wizard.
for
A very
I
long
think
time.
40 plus years at this point.
Goodness
So, but if you like magic and you like Ossiarchs and you want to just go all in for magic, this is one of the ways that you can do it. This is a great little box set.
Like I say, I
You can
wouldn't
also
mind
use
an
this as a
Ossiarch
start of
army
any
because it's
Ossiarch
not
army.
going to be a
It's a
difficult one to
perfectly good start
paint.
action. There's another box
And
set
build,
on the way
but
as well.
So here we have the
Heralds of the Bone Tithe, more old boys.
which is a regiment of renown for them.
Yeah, so effectively,
Regiment of
this
Renown.
means that you can put some of your Ossiarch units into any.
That
other
looks like
group. So if
Avatar
you have something
script
like a
from Last
Soulblight
Airbender.
Greyhawk army, or a Nighthaunt army, or a Flesh Eater Courts army, you can send some of Nagash's tax collectors along with your force, so that when the battle has finished, they can go around the battlefield.
He's gonna
and
tax
gather
your
up the bones
bones.
of the fallen. There's some really nice little abilities in this unit. He's got a spell that means that if you cast it onto an enemy unit, they have to use a command point if they want to fight, which is just really, really good. You've got to get it cast. You've got to get it cast. Your opponent will know you're trying to do it. But there is a potentially game-winning little move in there. If you
Epic
can stop
scale
an enemy unit
AOS.
from fighting because they've run out of command
Why
points,
would you think
or
that?
make them use a valuable command point when they don't want
If
to.
it was,
Just
that'd
to
be
do something
cool.
with
Just to do
normally
that, and
for free,
they
right?
normally do. That's anything that you can force your opponent to have.
Any
to do
Horus
something they
Heresy
want
or
to do,
making
right?
Feels
any
like a
new
really
Primarchs
thematic use of
alive.
Von
We'll
Mortian,
see.
Right?
Yes.
He's
I
sort
hope
of the
not.
master of the bone tithe. He's one who tallies it all. And
I
he
would
is
be
sort of
okay
matches
if
the
they
battlefield.
bring
There are
back
only two things in life that are completely inevitable: is death and taxes. In this box, is
Ferrus
both of them.
Manus
Speaking of death,
as
this is
leader
the Death
of
Battletome Ossiarch Bone Reapers.
the
It
Legion of the
contains everything you
Damned.
would
But
expect
other than
from
that, I don't want any dead
it's
Primarchs
full of
back.
Brilliant lore about the Ossiarch
Stay
Bone Reapers,
dead.
who they are and how they fight, as well as all of the rules.
And I'm speaking of the Blood
that
Angel.
we talked about. They've got a really interesting new rule available
Fan,
to the army.
player.
Relentless Discipline.
No, an actual
Just
Blood
touching it
Angel.
Very briefly, but there's like a new little widget attached. You know, the profile.
He needs to stay dead.
And
For the
heroes
story.
essentially get
Otherwise
relentless
it's
discipline
pointless.
points which they can spend. So the Liege Mortek, this little guy here, gets 5. Nagash
He's
gets
a
10.
little guy.
They can spend those throughout
He's
the game
a
to
little
gain some
guy.
extra abilities. Really exciting. I've not collected any Ossiarch Bone Reapers before, and as I was sort of deep diving into this.
Red Corsairs and Ossiarchs, all tax related.
Things you can do. It's very exciting.
One
so
wants
you've got things
attacks,
basically
one
out there
doesn't
in
want
every phase.
attacks.
You've got things that,
Absolutely.
make you better at fighting or slightly more durable and things like that. And one of the things you want to do when you're putting your army together is go, how many heroes do I want so that I've got the right amount of
Yep.
tools and of these points to spend on my units. So it definitely rewards someone with a systematic and kind of strategic approach to putting an army
If
together.
you want to get a sense of the scale of things, we've got them here, and I'll put the Liege Cavalos alongside the Liege Mortek.
They are nice models. They're not focusing very well.
He's taller than a storm
They're focusing on your finger, not the models.
Wonderful piece here. So
Yeah,
cool.
but both of these have got quite a lot.
They're
of
cool.
options
I
and
like-
bits
I
as
like
well.
'em.
So if you've
I
got
like 'em a
either of
lot.
These characters, you've got some spare bits, and
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can customize.
Not
them
enough to
use
start
whether
spending
you
all
want
my
to go with
money.
a
Because
spear or a
if I'm going to
sword
spend
or
money, I'm
something
waiting
very
until the
aggressive.
11th comes
And I
out
think
in
you could
summer.
do some quite
I'm going to get the
interesting
box
things
set.
converting across these two models as
Sure
well.
we
If you
could,
wanted
yeah.
multiples of either as
I mean,
well.
that's what
Like I
the
say,
Gads
I've
do,
got,
really, just
like,
get all
so
the
many
values
Emperor's
that are
Children, and I
building
just
his own
haven't
thing, like
touched them.
You too could be a Lord of Death.
So I just know.
Perfect. Right. That is not it for the Mortal Realms, however. We have
There's more?
another battle tome
Or is
to
it
show
Blood
you
Bowl?
that is coming out fairly soon. This is the Chaos
Oh,
Battle Tome,
Tzeentch.
Disciples of Tzeentch. And as you might expect, it contains everything you need to know about the followers of the Changer of Ways.
You going to get any new
and all
models?
of his armies that are at his disposal.
I don't recognize
And
this guy.
It's not just a book that's coming out.
He's not a
we are
Zangor.
also, accompanying it
Fate
with,
Master.
a new miniature, which is the Fate Master. Eddie, what can you tell us about this?
Yeah,
I
Fate Master
do
is the
really
general
love
immortal army of Tzeentch.
a character
Of course,
in
they
a
are
skirt
wizards,
with their
so
thighs
everybody
out
who follows
and
Tzeentch
then
is in some way
leg
or
armor.
will form a wizard. But primarily,
And this
they are
guy's
using
got
things
his
like
arms out as well.
knights and things like that into battle. Because this is a Tzeentchian general, they don't really play fair. So a lot of their tricks and things.
I
that they
just
bring
got
to the
his neck
battlefield are
exposed.
less
He's-
about winning in a straight fight. and
I
more
suppose
about
that might be
seizing
part of
your
the thing.
opponent. So you
And
can
new
use some of
Flamers
their
waiting?
abilities to move your own units around the battlefield when the enemy.
Flamers do need a
come within
remake.
range to try
Those
and charge
models
your
are
units, all
ancient,
of a sudden
but
they're not there anymore, they're actually
as
in
I
the fight.
understand it, the
The
rumors
enemy
I've
is
heard
very
is that
advantageous in
demons
combat,
just
so they
are not on
a
the
critical
list to
unit.
do
They
anything
are
with.
still a chaos
If
lord, and
anything, they might be
still
getting rid of
fight in
them,
combat
which
very,
would suck.
effectively, but it's the tricks.
I
and
hope
the
they get new
strategic
ones.
positioning stuff they bring to your army that makes them. Really
I
popular.
got a real sort of thing where I would
Yeah,
love to
absolutely.
see
And there's a
Slash
new terrain
Demonettes
piece for these,
with
which is just
wings.
fantastic.
That'd be
This is
so
the thing I'm most
cool.
excited about for the,
I think they're missing a
Disciples
trick
of
by
Tzeentch. These are the
not making the
Ardent
demons a
Shards.
bit
just fantastic.
I was going to say
embodiment of
make
your
the demons
wilderness of
thicker, but I already did that with
demons
Slash.
and
I
magic
make
swirling
the
around.
armies bigger.
There's
There's more
a story
options.
being told by this model, which is
And more
borne
fun.
out by the rules and the lore. Essentially, you see the one on the left on the screen sort of being
Ooh.
torn apart. These drift around the battlefield. They're really useful. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But if one is destroyed, if you don't get them both, the other one will split and essentially make a new one. And that
very
being
Zinchi.
apart, that's really part of its own story. It's just great.
Yeah, so they've got two abilities effectively. One of them is that if one of them is on the battlefield, you can immediately make another one in your hero phase. And if you've got them on the battlefield, you can reposition them as well. And the reason you might want to reposition them is that your wizards can use them to channel their magic through. So if you're close to one of these and you're a Zinchian wizard, and you've probably got loads of Zinchian wizards if you've got a Zinch army, because that's kind of the whole army. You can use these to cast your spells further than you otherwise could. And if you're playing against them, you can't get rid of them unless you kill both of them at the same time. We've got them on the table here, so you get a sense of the scale. So
It's a pretty
again,
big
this is
model.
a fairly large infantry model that's like larger than the Stormcaster.
Slightly nerds, kind of.
So they're fairly big pieces of terrain, and they go back to that kind of classic Zinchian idea of the Silver Towers of Zinch, which has been part of their lore for kind of time immemorial. This is a little nod to that.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see these cropping up in like any Zinch army.
Oh yeah, we were talking before about, you know, if you've got something like 1,000 Suns army and you're building some scenery or something, you can imagine having these mixed in amongst them to make your
100%.
battlefield look as Zinchian as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is not it in terms of battle tomes.
More?
For the more realms, there is another one,
They just-
almost equally magical as well.
Goodness.
Cannot
These
believe
are,
it.
Of course, the Order Battle Tome for the Lumineth Realm Lords.
Ox elves.
Again, everything you'd expect from a
Cow
battle tome,
elves.
updated with fantastic new lore and all the rules
Kelves.
and things you will need to play your games. The Lumineth Realm Lords army rules have had a shake-up, which is quite exciting. Eddie and I were talking with the team from the Warhammer
Are they
Studio
less
about that.
cowy? Or are they more
And,
cowy?
we don't possibly have time to go into all of those details here today, but we'll be covering it as we get closer on Warhammer.
Have they gone full cow?
There's also a new model for them. The Lumineth Realm Lords
That's not a
have been
cow.
really well served with battlefield wizards, but maybe not as many sort of frontline fighting heroes. So this is a Venari.
See, this
Lord
guy's got his legs out
Yeah,
as
so
well,
the
but he's
Lord
got at
Legion
least the
effectively leads
wherewithal to
your
put
infantry
trousers on.
phalanxes into battle. They are a very competent fighter. They're an elven lord, so they've got a very respectable combat stat line. But the real thing they bring to the battle are two special rules in terms of your game.
He
One of
looks
them
a
is
lot like
that
the
hero
Uriel model that you just
where they
showed.
Rally because they are a shining
Riz
example
Maxi.
to their people. You get to roll.
He's an
extra
elf,
dice
they
into
do
which is
that.
really useful if
That's
you're
a-
trying to bring
that's
back your
a
models,
thing.
especially when they cost so many points for Lumineth.
Get
So
the
every
Riz on.
elf
Look
that's
at how
going to your
sharp
force
those
is very
eyebrows are.
worthwhile. The other thing they do, if you put them alongside a unit of your wardens, which are your big kind of spear phalanx,
absolutely.
they can basically have the phalanx advance into enemy units.
That
and
is
cause a
silly.
whole bunch of
I don't
damage. So
like
your
these ones. I
big
don't think the
scary
models
Glaucus
look-
Spearman becomes
I mean,
even scarier.
everybody
Ooh,
likes
that's
their own things, but
So
I'm
your
just not a big
spearmen
fan
can
of these
only do
ones. I
mortal
think
wounds when
they don't
fight.
look
They can
great.
also just do it passively by existing and pushing forward into the enemy force.
That's just me.
Fantastic. You've seen on the screen now that the kit has some variants. You can build it in a couple of ways. Or
Why are the blue horrors hanging up
maybe get
behind
some
him?
spares. And we've got
Is he
them actually
leading
on
the
deck in
army
front
of
us if
blue
you wanna
horrors?
Have a look. The thing that I like about the sort of the difference in is you can see this one's got like a little amphora on his back, and then this one obviously has got this sort of double banner. Very catchy.
Two back
So
banners
yeah,
definitely in this season, isn't it?
Oh, I
Yeah.
tell you what.
Elves with back
banners
banners.
are back, it seems. Banners back. That's good. So there we go. And again, just a great hero. For
LRL
the
versus
Realm
Inch
Lords.
is the classic
We've
box.
got
That's
some
true.
questions they've been flooding in through the chat.
Do
And
my best.
actually, the first question really hits near my heart. It says from Prime Chatmandu. It says, "Do you ever get nervous when you're touching Evermore miniatures?" Let me tell you, I am terrified every time I touch Evermore miniatures.
When they hand them over, they sort of scowl.
Yeah, well,
so we're not really allowed to.
Each of these represents.
I imagine a lot of them are
if
like,
not hundreds of
if you
hours of
damage it, I
play,
get to
like,
paint
by
it
the
again,
best
so that's
engines in the
okay.
world. And
I'm fine
they've
with
been
that.
treated that way. The first ever battle report I played years and years ago, I dropped a hell cannon, and I've always been nervous about it ever since. Next question is, can I use? And it's talking about the Liege Mortec. This is from Priminus Lamp. Can I use this as a MOE proxy? I think you mean Master of Executions, and I think you need to do quite a lot of conversion work to do that. But that said, doing kit bashing
Not
is half
really.
the fun of this hobby, right? I'm looking at all those red corsairs just.
It's just
imagine
a Chaos Space Marine with a big axe.
yeah,
It's the
maybe.
both things
And
are
then,
exactly the same.
Always good for a fun question is from Fossil Fracas. If the new Chariot and the Sunstealer Wheeler got into a race, who would die first?
Ooh,
Well, I would argue that the Ossot Memory Pit is already dead.
I think the Sunstealer Wheeler is faster, probably, but it's tortoise and hare, isn't it? You probably get bored about halfway through the race and
He's
stop.
never going to outlast the dead, is
No,
he?
probably.
Perfect. Look, that was all a bit of fun. Thank you for
All of Age of
keeping the
Sigmar done
questions
now?
coming in. we're going to go now from the mortal realms to a very unusual place, which is the gridiron, as we keep the theme
Blood
of
Bowl.
elves. And we go
More
to
elves and Blood
So,
Bowl.
time for us to talk a little bit about the latest Blood Bowl team to approach the gridiron. These are the Calidor Dragons.
High elves.
I got some things to say. This is a classic Blood Bowl team.
I like
which
the
has
shoulder.
been, like around for a very long time.
Again
and
with
now
the
it
legs
is
out. They just can't
redone
help
and updated
themselves.
in plastic for the modern era. Season 3 of Blood Bowl launched just recently, and I'm really excited for these. I think this might be the last of the classic teams that we're waiting to see.
Could be right. Could be right.
Anyway, if you know the Calidor Dragons, you might know what to expect, but they have 4 positionals, and each of them fills a very specific role within the Blood Bowl
Dragon Princes.
game. So the first up is the Dragon Princes. So they are essentially the show stealers of the gridiron for the Calidor Dragons. Incredibly skilled players.
I
They've
feel
got
like they're
fantastic
wearing
stat
too much
line.
armor.
They have
It's cheating.
great rules as well. So in addition to block, which you'd expect, because these guys kind of fill the role of a blitzer.
Sports
they also have
ball for
steady 50,
nerds.
6+ and you don't get knocked down. So you can use that against any of the circumstances which might come up. They also
I'm full of
are
cold.
penalised by a little rule which is known as my ball, which means they can never give the ball away no matter what.
Don't like sharing.
So the trick with this is to burst through the enemy pitch, get down the field, and then get the ball to this guy. So he doesn't have to give it away. He can just go and score a touchdown instead. Next up, we have the White Lions.
They're cool.
The High Elf team is a little bit different to some in that it doesn't really have a catcher archetype. Instead, you've got the White Lions, which are another blitz.
Games Workshop's really obsessed with putting
wrestle, which is a very
2
good
of the
skill to
same
make
sprue
sure
in
that
every
you don't, get
box.
stuck with a turnover if a tackle goes weird and you both get knocked down.
Because
both
everything that has
Oh
10
my
models, it
God,
actually just
my
has
word.
5, but 2
The
versions
claw
of
is
them.
not just symbolic. They have the claws special rule, and what that means is that they never need more than an 8+ to bust the armor when you're making the armor roll, having successfully hit somebody. That's really useful. The third of the sort of skilled positionals are the
I had a
Phoenix
nap
Warriors.
earlier. I don't know why I'm tired.
The Phoenix Warrior really fills the role of thrower, and this is one of the best throwers on the Blood Bowl pitch, of any team. Fantastic stat line, really, really great at making sure the ball goes where you need it. So
That's
they have
cool.
those throwing skills that you would expect. Also, they
Got
have
a stupid
Cloud
elf
Burst,
hair
which is
hat,
so
which
good.
is
Essentially, Cloud Burst
par
gives
for the
you a
course of
real
the high
advantage
elves.
in that when you lob that ball, the enemy can't make intercept rolls against you. So imagine your Dragon Prince has burst through, he's far down the field, you just one nice clean lob shot all the way down the pitch, and nobody can catch it instead. It's great.
What I love about all of these miniatures is that they look like the Blood Bowl incarnations of the classic
Absolutely so.
old
Right.
world units. So like the Phoenix Guard, the White Lions, the Dragon Princes, they just look exactly like those, but in shorts.
Yeah, exactly. So lots of calves and thighs on display, but otherwise it is just pure Blood Bowl fun. Right, this is the 4th position. They're the High Elf linemen. In some ways, the
Just
linemen are
lads.
the boring part of your Blood Bowl team, but High Elf linemen are really good. Right, let's not beat around the bush. They've got great stat lines. They've got decent armor. They've got no skills to speak of, but they're reliable. The only downside is at 65,000, I think it is, to recruit them. You don't get a massive team. I started my Blood Bowl time
It's
playing
definitely
with halflings.
an elite finesse team.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and so you've got to get everything acting in the way it's supposed to, and I guess you need these to do some of the heavy lifting in terms of maybe making.
I'm not that interested in Blood Bowl.
themselves.
For the people who
But
like
this
it, I'm
also
happy for
contains-
them,
Christ,
but
I've talked a lot
it's not
here.
for me.
It also contains the balls, the turn and reroll markers, and everything that you would expect for you to mark.
He's doing a little devil horns with
And
his
there'll be a
hand.
Spike journal that comes out alongside all of this. When,
always a
it
journal.
releases, which is full of all of the stories and the lore behind it. And
He said Horus
information about
Heresy,
different
there's
high
more
elf teams and all that
40k.
good stuff.
And dice and a picture.
We haven't seen
all
the
that jazz.
Custodes
Yeah, I think,
reveal
you
yet, which
talked
is
a
one of the
little
things
bit
they
about how
suggested, so I
feed
imagine
into
that's
sort of the
coming.
classic imagery of the high elves. I think one of the things that I really like is that bleeds into the rules in a way. The Dragon Prince is extremely arrogant.
They're like your shock
The-
troops that
Exactly,
go up
and
the middle.
the White
yeah.
Lion, they were the monster hunters traditionally, right? And so that.
So if the
claw
enemy's got
rule-
a troll, you're like,
Exactly.
you're going down troll.
That claw rule lets them go in and bust open, I don't know, Chaos Warrior armor or whatever it might be. Yeah, really,
Very cool.
really great. Very exciting to see these finally reach the gridiron. And there we go. That is your Blood Bowl section. Pretty exciting. coming
Chaos
to a
reels were
pitch
meh.
near you.
No, they fucking weren't. Bone Reapers are
Next
cool.
up, he says, we
Some of
have
the chat in the
a little bit
Warhammer
of,
chat is just
an animation
stupid.
clip to show some people.
Yeah, absolutely. So next up,
Cartoon.
we have a new clip from Penitence, which is the new Warhammer 40,000 animation on its way for Warhammer Plus very soon. Here
Only
are
some?
the first 2 minutes of that show.
Oh. 2 minutes.
For too long,
Sisters!
Season 4 has been bereft of the Emperor's light. Like so much of our benign
Is this the one that
Klingons, a
Lae'zel's
candle
doing?
flickering in darkness. Our mission is of sacred importance. The enshrinement of our fallen Canoness Rexilla. She will be a beacon, a rising call to the faithful. She
God,
will mark
I believe so.
as a shrine world. The
Devourer.
Emperor's flock will come, and with them, new hope. The foulness of the orcs shall be driven from this place.
Orcs versus sisters. That's fun.
We will not fail, for to do less would be to fall short of what our Emperor demands. By fire and faith, we...
They got shot. Orc, 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 orc. What the horses?
His test begins.
Twitch is stupid sometimes. Face tested February
Eddie,
2026.
that was awesome. What can you tell us about Penitent?
Yes, this is a new animation on its way for Warhammer Plus. This is an Adeptus.
I don't have
Sororitas
Warhammer Plus, so I
animation
don't care.
featuring
But
the
it's
Order
cool.
of the
I like
Sacred
it for the
Rose,
people
which
that do.
I think we
Good
haven't
for
seen
you.
before.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are on a sacred mission to found a new shrine world. They have a sacred relic, and they have to get it to the shrine world. Obviously, the mission doesn't quite go to plan, as you saw there. Their ship is intercepted by some orcs and downed, and then they have to trudge across this wasteland to get their relic to where it needs to go. The orcs in this are snakebite orcs, which is pretty cool. We haven't really seen snakebite orcs in
So the
animation before.
horses.
Snakebites, of course, famous for bringing along gribbly squiggly beasts with them, and I can confirm there is a squig in this animation.
Nice. So we get both a cyber cherub and a squig in Penitent.
Absolutely spoiled, yeah.
I should have watched this on YouTube and not Twitch.
When does it arrive?
So this is on its way in February. The first episode, it will be a 3-part animation with the first one landing in February, so not very long to wait at all.
Fantastic. So if you are not familiar with Warhammer TV, it's available through your Warhammer Plus subscription, and it gives you access to loads of animations and sort of shows that are made by the team in-house, gaming and lore and all that sort of thing. So if you want to watch this as it comes out, make sure you get yourself a subscription and join in. It's going to be great.
Exactly that.
Nice one. Right. So there were some questions in the Blood Bowl section that I got hold of late, and my favourite question was, Custodies, when? Well, I'd like to tell you when. We're going to go to all the way back to the Age of Darkness with this.
Ah, it's Horus Heresy Custodies. Is that upgraded Custodian Guard? Oh. They're redoing the models. They're not that old. That's a lot of gold. Sure look like Custodies. So they're just re-upping the whole army. Battle Force. Okay, makes sense.
I'm so excited by
Plastic
everything that we just saw
re-releases,
there. We have
maybe.
the forces of the Legio Custodians for the Horus
But they've been
Heresy.
plastic for a long time now.
Everything in that video we're going to talk about. Let's start with what you can see on the screen right now.
So this is a box, isn't it, Adam?
Yeah,
It's a
this
brand
is-
new box.
This is the Legio Custodians battle group, and this is coming out
Fucking
as part
horses.
of the launch. Everything in this is a new plastic
Can I
miniature.
turn this off?
And it
Just
just
fuck me.
looks incredible. You've got 2 sodalities of Custodians, you've got a Dreadnought,
It's just a
shield
bit
captain,
thing.
and a Graph Tank. Let's talk about those in detail. These, of course, are the Custodian Guard sodality, Eddie.
This is a Custodian Guard Sodality. They are the archetypal image of a Custodian. They are towering guardians.
The
each
tanks
one
at
with
least.
a
The
guardian
tanks
spear,
probably still
able
resin,
to
that's
chop
true.
the enemy up in close combat and blast them apart at range.
But these guys look
are a brand new
thinner.
plastic kit kit.
Trimmer.
Slight readjustment, I suppose, of the proportions of the
Yeah.
custodians, but still very recognizably the custodians.
Custodians have always been chunky boys. This is quite slim.
Emperor, and still in the Horus Heresy at this point, successful.
Yeah, absolutely. They haven't dropped the ball yet.
Yeah, the Emperor's still alive
the
at this
kit
point.
is, as I said, it was multi-part plastic. There's some options in there. You've got these high-helmed, high-plumed helmets that you can
There's
see here.
plumes.
There's some bear heads in the kits that you can build your models, whether they're willing to risk getting shot in the face or not. That's your choice. And then there's option for the Vexilla in there, so you can carry proud standard of imperial rule.
Yeah,
on
you've
the
also got
battlefield.
all the Misericordia as you'd hope as well.
Yeah,
the little
absolutely.
kind of stabbing daggers that the custodians have.
They're just dripping
They look
in
cool.
all the paraphernalia and apparel that you'd expect from the Emperor's most elite warriors.
It's to add more female heads, I
Here you can
suppose.
see
That
some of
makes
the
sense.
different heads that are available to the kit. So you can do a mixture or all of one.
You got
style,
depressed
whatever it is
and
that,
started binge
suits
eating
you,
after the
really.
Emperor put that on. That's
You've
true.
already said it, but for me, this is the quintessential image of the Legio Custodes, right? These like serried ranks of
That's
sort
cool.
of spear-wielding, golden armored warriors. I love it. They're not the only sodality in the Custodes Battle Group box set, though. You also have the Sentinel Guard, who are essentially the same kind of unit, but these are equipped with Presidium shields and Custodian Warblades.
Yeah, so another effectively battle line unit of custodians. A normal custodian, if such a word can be used to describe the custodians. These ones are a little bit more defensive and a little bit less killy, but every custodian is a master of death and very, very durable. These ones have shields, which in your games of Horus Heresy can allow them to use shield war special rules and make them a bit more durable against incoming fire, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And their invulnerable save is better because of those shields as well. They're just great. And so essentially you're just making that choice.
The Warhammer chat, you can imagine, is
Yeah,
very
and you
upset
probably
and
been
also
through
very
one a little
supportive
bit,
of the fact that there's female
Of course,
custodians.
there was more in that big army shot. That we
It
saw
is
than
more
just
important
the
things to be
two,
upset about.
sodalities. Next up, we have the shield.
Nobody
Captain.
cares.
I am unapologetic.
Nobody
this is
should
my
care.
favourite of the models in this custodian
They're
release.
toys.
I
Come on.
genuinely think this is incredible. The level of detail that they have captured on it is so good. It comes with a couple of options. Here you can see the helmeted head and the unhelmeted head. I really like that golden laurel wreath that has been sort of woven into her hair. If you don't know about custodian shield captains, these
Is
are
that a thing
essentially
that we do,
a
Custodes?
top-tier fighter on the battlefront.
No.
They can go up against anything up to and probably including the first captains of the
I mean,
legions.
Games
if you're
Workshop
not a
knows better than
Primarch,
me, I
it is not a
suppose. I
pushover,
shouldn't
and even if
complain.
you are, be careful.
Yeah, a shield captain backed up by a squad of custodians can happily take on a Primarch level character and up against anything that's a Space Marine, unless you've got a very, very impressive sword of some sort, you're definitely going to come out on the wrong side of that fight. The miniature is absolutely
So good,
dripping
yeah.
in detail. I think one of the things you can just see in that
It's a decent
rotating
pose.
there is the text on the inside of the shield.
We got quite excited about this earlier on, didn't we?
So one of the concepts of custodians generally is that they write
It
their
says on the
honor
inside
name
of a
inside
shield,
their armor.
Emperor Good.
And the
That's it.
idea
Okay,
here
I remember
being
now.
that the titles that this warrior has achieved throughout their career has been so extensive that the achievements have gone beyond their armor and onto the shield itself.
Yeah, absolutely. A really fantastic model, and I wonder if we'll be talking about this as one of the models of
That's
the
pretty
year
cool.
this time next year.
They do have a
there's
lot of
more
name, the
inside this battle group
Custodes.
than we've shown you so far. We go to the vehicles. So first of all, you have the Custodian Dreadnoughts. There's two variants. You can choose which one you're going to build. The first of which is the Contemptor
That's a big
Achilles
lad.
Dreadnought.
I think this
Equipped
is
with a
resin
Achilles
as
war
well,
spear,
so that
which
makes
is
sense to make
like
this plastic.
The length of 3 men.
It's just a giant guardian spear, basically,
Yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
If you get put inside a dreadnought
cool
and you've been a
contemptor.
custodian, you're like, I really like stabbing people with a spear. Can I continue to do that? And the answer was a firm yes.
Yeah,
It's a
and,
bigger
it's
spear.
phenomenally dangerous. Big damage. It can. It's got armor bane, so vehicles are in real trouble. For me, this is my favourite of the two. We'll show you the other one in a second. But look at the pose that you've got on it. This kit is really poseable. They've made the most of.
It
sort of
seems
multi-part
quite
plastic
posable,
functionality that
which
the
means
kit
there'd be a bit
has.
of
Really special.
pain in the ass to
Yeah,
build.
the Contemptor Dreadnoughts,
There's all the
Contemptor Dreadnoughts, but
Contemptors are.
particularly the custodian ones, have been available in resin before, obviously, and they've always been kind of highly posable. None of that posability has been lost in the transition to plastic, and actually it's now an even easier material to work with, and you've got more options and ways of building, so you can include half a dozen of these dreadnoughts in your army if you wanted to, and every single one of them could look completely unique and different in terms of posing.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at the other one that's in. So this is the Contemptor Galatus Dreadnought. Again,
I think this one's my
Sword and
favourite.
board.
There you go.
He looks absolutely awesome. There's something about a dreadnought with a massive shield and a massive sword that just absolutely.
The thing
works.
that I don't like about
And it
Custodes
mirrors
is just
the
that
two
they're
different
so gold. I
core
know you can paint
unit
them
types of the
differently, but they're
custodians,
just
right?
so
You've got one with the
gold.
spear, the more aggressive one. You've got one with the
And
spear,
I
the shield,
I
the sword,
have
the
sanguinary
defensive
guard
one.
and all that sort
So
of stuff,
if you
but this
wanted
is
to,
just
you could
too
pair them
much
up, right? You
gold.
could have the shield one, walk around
It would
with
be
your shield
kinda cool,
Custodes, and your spear one go alongside the warriors that they fought with in life.
Yeah, the Contemptor Galatus.
I do like the
Galatus,
blue accent. That's
Warblade,
kind of
That is
nice.
just going to cut.
Hopefully they
through,
do
like,
the thing where they
medium
add some
infantry like
locate
nothing.
pegs
I
for a
think to bear in
pre-made
mind about these
pose.
is every
If you
dreadnought
can
is
easily clip
piloted
them
by,
off
like, a
for more
fallen warrior,
portability.
like,
That's
they're
pretty
entombed
cool.
Within the sarcophagus.
That is nice.
Just bear in mind that the warrior that is piloting this was a custodian, the absolute fighting elite of the Imperium, handpicked and created by the Emperor.
Yeah, easy to do if you go Dark Knight
These are
themes, just
really,
prime
really
black
dangerous
and
on the
Drybush
tabletop.
dark
In
blue.
addition to all of that
True.
armor, they're phenomenally
I
skilled
suppose.
warriors still.
Yeah, a very, very good stat line. They can wade into whole.
I just don't want to have an excuse to buy more miniatures.
Very satisfying. They look great though.
The
I mean, because then if I do it like that, then I've just got Death
Death
Company, haven't I?
This is the Caladius Annihilator Grav tank. We'll talk more about other Grav tanks in a minute, but essentially think
Grav
of
tank.
this as a main battle tank for the Legio Custodes force.
In plastic.
It is equipped with an Arachnus Blaze Carronade, which is the sort of double barrel.
There's so much fucking trim, and it's a real pain. Yeah.
Devastating ranged
Yeah,
weapon with
chaos,
2
exactly.
fire modes, the first of
The
which
excuse
is
to actually
anti-tank,
build those minis. I have
within
so many
2
boxes.
shots at strength
I
10,
have
just
both
blasting,
the Emperor's
Armor
Children
Bay.
Battle
Yeah,
Forces,
absolutely.
the one that came out at
And
the
then,
release and the one that
its,
came out
alternate
at
fire mode is
Christmas, and I haven't
multi-shot,
touched
and
them.
it's great at gunning down heavy.
That's a lie. I built
So,
10
the thing that we
dudes,
were talking about before, and I think you made
but
a really good point of.
I haven't
was,
touched them properly in a long
stuff
time.
in the Legio Custodes force needs to often do 2 things. to
Yeah,
survive.
because you're almost always outnumbered,
Yeah.
both in terms of how big your units are, but also in terms of how many units you have on the battlefield. So it's not enough that you've got a unit that's very good at killing tanks. It might also need to do some double duty to, pitch into the battle against enemy heavy infantry or support your units, whichever thing is currently giving you.
Does
challenge.
Calgar come with a
Most
bike?
units in the Custodian
Everyone's
army are
upset
quite good
that
at
there's
several
no
things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Calgar.
Those are the units that make
The
up
Warhammer
Custodian,
Fantasy Marauders
Guard
box
battle
before
group
I
that
was
we've,
even
shown at the
building through
start.
Cathay
There are
like
more
an
units
idiot.
coming along the way.
Yeah, that'll be
Also, all
the
in
first
plastic.
thing you can buy. That'll be
Absolutely.
if you want to go.
I
all
wanted
in
to have
with
a look at the
Custodian army,
Cathay.
the first thing that your reinforcements
Wow,
are hot
my
on
ears got chopped
Exactly.
off.
So next is the
Let me
Caladius
use
Grav
this sit up.
tank. It is
Hello.
very similar to the Caladius Annihilator Grav tank. It's just an Annihilator instead.
Yeah,
it has
I really
a
like the look at
Filiastus,
Cathay. I wanted to get them.
Accelerator cannon on its roof. Think.
But I bought
Sakaran
the
Battlefront from the Space Marine Legions. If you
Wood
know
Elves,
the
like I
setting,
said,
it will
and
be a
immediately was
similar
like, oh,
but
I
upgunned
don't want
version of
this
that
army.
kind of weapon.
So I decided not to
decent
get any
fire
more
rate,
old world stuff.
Gonna maul medium and light vehicles. And
But I got
pretty
Death
much any infantry
Death
in
Guard
front
one
of
that
it.
came out. I
It's
got
the
2
big,
Emperor's
heavy
Children one that came out,
it's
and I
another
got the
great
Blood
thing
Angel
for a
ones that
light
came
army.
out.
You won't get many tanks in a Custodian army just because
I've got too
everything
much.
costs so many points. But there's certainly a place for one of each of these in a 3,000 point force.
Yeah, absolutely. Sticking
Oh,
on
and a
the
bunch of
theme
Tyranids.
the Grav tanks, we have the biggest of all of them,
Oh,
which is the Coronis
that is a
Grav
big
carrier.
lad.
This thing is enormous. We've got one on the desk in front of us. We'll show you in a minute. But essentially, this is big enough that it can carry an entire sodality of Custodian Guard and an accompanying hero.
Yeah, you get a kind of a sense of how big it is there because you can see the Custodians next to it. Remember that those are Terminator-sized miniatures, so this is a big old tank.
It really is. It's
a
not
carrier.
unarmed as well. You can see the guns on it, but the one to talk about maybe is the Neutronium Cascade Projector.
Sounds cool.
We'll tell you more about that another time, but essentially it's a powerful gun in its own right. So in
It's a
addition to
good. It's a
disgorging
big gun.
the most elite fighting units in the
Hooray.
galaxy onto the tabletop, it's also hosing you with devastating firepower.
And all of these are plastic as well. This is
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
huge plastic kit.
Additionally, you might have seen in the video that we saw before, you have the Venetari sodality. So these
Ooh.
are elite hunter-killer
Player
strike
boys.
troops within the Legio Custodes. Born
Were
aloft
these
on
just
these
in
sort of
resin?
Gold
So I don't
wings,
think these are
on
40k
contrails of
available.
fire, diving deep into the heart of the enemy.
Yes, this is your kind of rapid strike, fast attack choice for the Legio Custodians.
Is this
You've got a
why they
couple of
took the
options
wings
there.
from the
You've got
Sanguinary
spear,
Guard?
or you've got the
'Cause they wanted to give it to
buckler
these
and the
boys.
pistol. Both of those are very lethal.
Oh,
They also
fuckers.
all come as standard with Misericordia and effectively like ancient grenades from a bygone era that are more powerful.
You
than
so
even
the Sanguinary Guard, yeah. I
of
think
the,
Warhammer Chats is
Yeah,
exactly the
these are
same.
Some dangerous guys. The kinetic destroyers, which is the sort of handgun-looking thing you can see, is a really powerful hand cannon. Basically, the Tarsus buckler reduces the strength.
I mean,
of
the
incoming
poses are
enemy
pretty much
fire.
exactly the same as the
Or if you
Sanguinary
look at
Guard
the
as well.
The Veritum Lance, say that fast. Really great on the charge. So options a go-go for you to get the
just
most
in
out of
case
these.
your Custodians weren't scary enough, now they're faster than everyone as well, and there's no escape.
You can see here the front. I believe that is the Neutronium
Why do these have
Cascade
wingspan and my
Mine.
Sanguinary Guard do
So,
not?
yeah,
Exactly.
Bring fun into the heart of the enemy.
I'm not upset.
All of this stuff and where you find it exists in the
I am very
Custodes
obsessed.
Leader, which we'll show you here.
I don't need to
Book,
go
it's
over it
hardback,
again. I've
it's
gone
lovely,
over it
it's
before a
full of
million
all the
times.
lore
But
and the stories and information that you
I
need
want
to
my
learn about the Legionnaires,
Why would you take them
Custodians, or
away?
the Adeptus them. And in addition to that, it talks about other elements of the Imperial household. So
Yep, so you've got the Anathema Psychana, the Sisters of Silence, and you've also got the Assassinorum.
Yeah.
So you've got all the various tools of the Imperial household, the stuff that the Emperor kept to himself on Terra as his personal army. All very, very powerful forces in their own right.
yeah, perfect. So we've got the models in front of us. It'll be fun to do a little bit of show and tell.
It's a
First
big
of all, we
one.
have a little stunt guy in the front.
Heresy
This is
Bob for scale here.
A happy
Heresy
little
Bob.
solo auxilia, and let's just stand him alongside the shield captain for context and scale.
Just going to get you a nice close in a second, guys, just so you get a sense of how big these are.
I'll slide him back. Oh, so
Custodians are big.
don't wanna scrape
Break it, don't break it.
Tell me about it. So the Custodian Guard are big, right? These are the pinnacle of the gene crafting that the Emperor does when he's creating his elite warriors. The only thing better, I suppose, is the Primarchs. And these didn't go wrong.
And
so-
half of them went bad, really.
Yeah,
So, I
right,
mean,
so-
maybe they're the best they got.
And then you can see the scale of the other things. So you put the little guy up alongside the grav carrier. It's just enormous. This thing is huge. If I
It looks
spin
like it's
round-
about Land Raider side, maybe a bit bigger.
It's like bigger than your hand, Adam. It's,
Yeah.
it's a big old thing.
So it's got this really cool entrance hatch. I was looking.
It's
at
not
some,
as big as they're
frames
trying to
and
make it out
details
to
on the inside.
be.
So I think if you're one of these modelists who likes to do that sort of thing, you might be able to like have it open or make a diorama or whatever it is you want to do. Yeah. So I think people are going to have a lot of fun with this, and
Just the size of the thing.
it's really cool, isn't it? What else is there to say on these? We should talk a little bit about the dreadnoughts. If you look at the sort of the chest armor on them, if I tilt them, you
Yeah,
might
so
be able to
there's a
see.
few different options on there, actually. I was looking at the kits before. You've got options for things like the shoulder pads. So if you've got multiple dreadnoughts, you can have slightly different shoulder pads. There's some nice little areas for heraldry. So these ones have got some heraldic devices designed onto them. There's some different
They're pretty
faces, I
nice.
think, in the kit. You've got some different.
I think they're a lot slimmer than the other ones. I think the old ones used to be massive.
Different. There's loads of detail on them. So
Well,
a
chunky
lot of
boys,
it's kind of
'cause they're all
sculpted on,
chunky
so
little
you could paint them
custodians.
very quickly if you wanted to. If you wanted to
They
like,
trim down,
spray them gold,
exercise.
put a wash on them. They look pretty
You're
great.
almost ready for war.
Yeah,
They hadn't
kinda
been
ready,
fighting, that's what it
but
was.
also
Now
if
that
you
they've been
wanted to
fighting, they've
spend
trimmed
hours
down.
and hours and make these, you know, the best models
Makes
ever
sense.
painted. They are a fine candidate for that as well. They are just really, really lovely models to put your hobby hours into and get something really nice out of it. The other thing that is worth saying about a lot of these miniatures is they will obviously have some dual purpose in Warhammer 40,000 as well.
Absolutely.
So if you have an Adeptus Custodes army, things like the Dreadnoughts obviously are already a data sheet in your force. You already have data sheets for things like Custodians with Guardian Spears and with shields.
Shield captains. Are an
Shield
absolute jewel,
captains as
right?
well. So lots of these, if you wanted to put them into your Warhammer 40,000 army, there's absolutely no reason not to.
Yeah, perfect. So we're not done with the Horus Heresy. There's still more. There's obviously a little bit for the Legiones Astartes. First up, we have the Legion Glaive Super Heavy Tank.
Big
You were really
tank.
excited about
I
one.
think this is my favourite.
Is this for a Macro Marine? That is a Custodes inside a big mech kind of thing. It's a sarcophagus where he's dying but being kept alive to power the machine.
We have ever seen, not counting
Big
things
lad.
like stuff on Titans that we might have seen.
Like a Dreadnought,
Yeah,
but
tiddly tiny scale.
for
But it is an
even bigger
absolutely
Space
enormous
Marines,
tank. It is obviously
effectively.
The Fellblade is the same chassis, but this has, I think, a cooler looking gun. Although I know you're a big fan of
So
the
Fellblade is the one for me, but I can't deny the coolness of this. The panning shots that you're getting right now really just show how cool and detailed this model is, right?
It's kinda
that
nice,
camera
I
is
like
so
it.
close to the model.
I do like how
and
everything's
it just
Iron
looks
Warriors at the
just
minute.
Crisp and brilliant and exciting.
The Space Marines.
Uh,
That is a
This one, of course, painted in Iron
chunky,
Warriors
chunky
colours.
thing on the
It
top.
also looks equally good in the other 17 available colours.
Yeah, I would think so. Better maybe in the colours of the first, I think. But, you know, who am I to judge?
Yeah, I thought most
It's a
Dreadnoughts,
Volkite
just
cannon,
wonder if
if
they
you're
were just
wondering.
ignoring
It's
Roger
an
scale with
enormous
other
gun,
models.
depth of
No,
range
these
to
are
an enemy should you so
Custodes.
desire.
Custodes are bigger than
The-
Space Marines.
It's not the only Astartes
If a-
tank
if a
available.
Space Marine 7
There
foot
are also
Custodes
the return
8,
of a Star
maybe
Wars
even
of
9.
The Legiones Astartes, and indeed the Space Marines of the
That
First
is a
Element as well,
whirlwind.
with the whirlwind
Wow.
missile tank.
There's something just kind of lovable about the whirlwinds.
I like whirlwinds.
It's a change in scale and magnitude here, isn't it?
The ancient.
A very useful little artillery piece. Does lots of useful.
Someone's
very
got the
cool
Emperor or
stuff for you
something. Right,
to
that's right.
This is a long-range artillery support piece that can.
They did a
reach
terrible
enemy
job
units when
during the
most of your
heresy.
things can't get
Afterwards,
to
they
them.
did okay.
Lots of the different missiles you can give it have morale sapping effects, basically.
Yeah,
so
so
it's a debuffing.
If you
I
put
s-
these
I
other
really like
packages
the
that I
Demos
suppose the
pattern
standard, you
right now.
upgrade those
It's
missiles
so
to
much
Pyrax
better.
If you want, at which point you can literally just drive people off of objectives.
Like
by
all
causing
my
panic.
chaos stuff,
Fantastic
when I get
for
around to
shifting
getting rhinos
hard
and
to
stuff like that, I'm
move.
getting
Normally
Horus
you're
Heresy
trying to kill
ones.
dozens and dozens of models.
Because
to
it just works so much better in my opinion.
If they just make them walk off it, then you can just
give
escape
it to you.
We were talking before, this is obviously painted up in the colours of the Imperial Fists. We thought it was quite amusing that it's done as a Templar, because they're obviously the keenest usually to get into close combat.
You can imagine how that went. It's like, my Lord Dawn, I'm now a Templar brother and I'm itching to serve. And he's like, sit in this at the back, please.
So
maybe a
Guardian
bonus
Skeleton
perhaps.
is much easier than
Maybe
Guardian the
it's
Mega
like
Conan.
Superman too
Troll.
much, who knows? It is
I have
fantastic,
heard.
and we're very excited for it. Where will you
The High
find
Crown, by
all
the way.
information
How you
you
doing?
need for these? Well, thankfully, there is a new journal. Tactics
Mailed
on the horizon. It's
Fist.
called Mailed Fist, and it details the Legionaries.
Just
of Darkness,
super
the heavy
tanks.
Lots of lore, organization charts, and information on how they were fielded, the operations that they fulfilled, that sort of thing, as well as some rules, including the rules for the return.
You've been lurking,
Whirlwind.
looking at stuff.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And
Did you
those of you with
see,
eagle eyes may have spotted there is one
Dead
There
Ultramarine?
we
There's
go.
always an
Ultramarine
Ultramarine.
fans,
We
fear
are
not, we got you.
contractually obligated to include at least one Ultramarine Space Marine in every preview, and you can see him there, about to be crushed under the uncompromising wheels of the Iron
Nice.
Warriors.
If he's not dead yet, he will be soon.
So if the Custodian's on
perfect.
40k,
So,
what's
was
the
great.
40k reveal at
Loads
the
of
end?
stuff for
Because
the
we've already done the
Horus Heresy.
Maelstrom.
I'm going to quickly dive into the questions.
That is a
and
big
see,
old tank, look at
where
that.
we are at. Right, so we've got will the
That
Custodians be
grav
playable
thing.
in Warhammer 40,000? That's from.
I'll give them
Vlad
this
said,
one.
well,
It's
you've covered that
Logar.
one
Sort of
already.
covered that one.
Loads of those
Yes.
models will be, and it's
Yeah.
really worth saying again. If it's got a analogous
I
unit in Warhammer
think
40,000,
we're
by all
probably
means,
100% no
it
copia.
suits you, that would be great.
Fair, okay.
Will we ever see?
I
more
don't
Citizen
think it's going to be
Silence?
Chaos. I don't think it's going to be
and
Space
The
Marine.
answer to that is they have rules and all of their lore and stuff is
Unless it's an
contained within that
Ultramarine.
Liber Custodes.
But they've already had the
So you can
Ultramarine, so they
continue
can't
to
do
build
that.
them. I hope one day
They're already
we'll
seeing
get
logo
more
on 4K
models
and sending
as
me-
well.
No use to
me
silence in
personally.
this particular wave of releases.
If
Although
only.
absolutely-
Very much case
yeah,
Um,
there's absolutely no reason that we
I
wouldn't
don't think it'll be
feature, and
Orcs
they
because obviously
absolutely
Orcs
feature
is
in the
the rumor
rules,
for the
And the question is, can you tell us how
box
many
set
heads there were? I probably could have done,
mid-time.
but I've forgotten because it's been quite a long
40k
preview.
release.
I think
How
you
many
That would
get,
be
How many bear
interesting.
heads? I think you get enough
I-
to do all of the models helmeted.
I think you
or
do, yeah.
bareheaded.
So if you want an entire squad in helmets,
It'll be
you
the
can do it that way.
next
If you want
thing
an
in
entire
the
squad in bare
maybe the
heads,
Maelstrom
you
or
can do it
whatever
that way
that thing
as
is, where it's
well.
500 Worlds Maelstrom.
Perfect. But
It'll
don't make
be
your buying
a
decision
hint
based on what I
towards
said
that.
right now because I might be
Yeah.
wrong.
I got a question earlier on that I
Tau?
actually got wrong. I
Oh,
just wanted to
maybe.
revisit. So somebody asked if
My
the
cosplayer waits
Corsair
to
unit
pass
was able
off
to join,
the package in person to let you.
Kieran's bodyguard was able to join another unit. I said it wasn't. It is, in fact, able to join
Nice.
another unit. So
Perfect.
sorry about that.
And the last question, this is from Love George, and the question is, in relation to the tank, is this plastic? Everything we've shown in this entire preview is in plastic. So I don't know
They've
which tank
pretty
you
much
meant, but
given
the
up on
answer is
resin
yes.
now.
The Coronis Grav Carrier,
Pretty much.
both
There's
the
still
tanks,
some
the
resin
heavy,
stuff, but
all
it's
of
pretty
it,
much over.
it's plastic all the
You
way.
Big
got
titty
the shot of
Necron
the,
Pharos, yes.
Grav carrier next to.
The scale of the thing is
Yeah.
quite
Oh,
fun,
if
isn't it?
if
So
there's
try
the
not
500 Worlds has a
break those
Necrons thing,
metal
maybe we're
work
going to get
against each
trays
other.
on the
So
Infinite.
I'm going to put them so they're sort of end to end.
That would be
so you can
cool.
get a
I would
sense
love
of
to see
how big
him.
They are if we get the camera on those. It is very
Boob armor, let's
nearly super heavy
go!
size, the
It's really
Coronas.
not far off. It's certainly not quite as bulky, perhaps.
I
as
think
the
they might
Space
travel in
Marines.
more comfort. Than
They-
the
they
I would
definitely
love to
do,
see
yeah.
some
They
more
look more
Necron
space
characters because the
inside.
Necrons are kind of lacking in
Fantastic.
characters
It's a
at the
big
minute,
old tank, certainly.
other than just like
Right,
generic.
there we
Here's
go.
your
We
leader
are
thing.
not quite done yet. We did promise you that we would return to the grim darkness of the far future, and here we are with a little teaser.
Oh. That's Iron Warrior. I was wrong, it's Chaos. Iron Warriors are getting stuff. Purdy? Are we getting Purdy?
Well, that was a tease, wasn't it?
Have
could
most
mean
characters
almost
outside Space
Good. All we
Yes,
know is
but
that
not
the
actual
rain of iron
characters.
approaches, and some of you may
Models.
have been able to form your own opinions on things that
They're all
maybe
like
were being hinted at with hazard stripes and
Characters in the fact
or
that they're just
burnished, silver
a
armor, who
title.
knows? If you want to have
Like
a look at
a
those
Space
images
Marine
again,
captain.
hop over to
That makes sense.
warhammercommunity.com. There'll be an article appearing there. If it's not already there, it'll be very soon, and you can.
They did get the
glean more
Nightbringer
bits of
recently. That's a good
information.
point.
That brings us to the end of our preview. If you've enjoyed this and you want more Warhammer for tonight, over in the US at Palm Springs right now, there is a Warhammer Open event taking place where there's fantastic games of Warhammer being played all weekend.
But that
As
has
soon
to
as we're
be
done here,
that has to be
I'm gonna throw
Purdy in
back
there,
to the
right?
team out there who
If they're
will
gonna
commentate on
do
fantastic games of Warhammer
Iron
40,000, I believe.
Warriors,
So jump on board and have a look at what's
Which is
going
an
on
army
there, by
I
all
have
means.
as well that I
Really
started,
what remains,
but
I guess,
I did
is
it
to
using
say thank you to everybody
Mark
who's made this
III
work.
Yeah.
We've
and
got a team of
Warriors
people who've operated all the cameras
and mixing it
all the
with
streaming
Chaos
equipment
Space
and
Marine
covered off your
bits.
questions. Thank you to all of you. Eddie, thank you for keeping me company and
Oh,
making
it's
this work.
quite all right, Adam. I didn't have plans tonight otherwise, so
Perfect.
it's been fun. It's been fun.
And
I think the
most
claw
important thing, I wanna
might
thank
be a
all of
new
you who've
defiler.
chosen to
That
spend a
would
little
make
bit of time being as
sense.
excited about Warhammer
That
as we
would
are
make a lot of
joining in
sense.
on
If
this
it's a new
preview for
Defi, I would
Age of
love it
Light.
because
We'll be
Defi's
back in a
just
couple of months with the next
defilers have
preview,
the
I think.
worst
I think
model
we're
in
planning to do
40k.
something from a
I'm going to
depth
put
kind
that
of
out
Very
there.
excited about that.
So bad.
Until then, thank you all
Really
so much
needs
for joining
redoing.
us. This has been
So
a
hopefully
delight,
that is the case.
and we will see you again very soon. Bye bye.
Named characters? I don't think so. Let me have a look. Defi's old, yeah. They've got the characters, but they don't have models. So you got Catan Shard, Necrosaur Amintar. I think that's the new one. I don't know if he's a character, though. So you got the Chronomancer, which is just a thing. Pictomancer is just a thing. Hexmark Destroyer, which is just a thing. Cryptek, which is just a thing. Luminous Ceros, which is a guy. Royal Wardens, which is just a thing. Overlord, which is just a thing. Trades in the Infinite, they got the old model for him. Imhotep, Orc Thunder Diviner, Catan. So yeah, no, there's a few, but like they definitely need updating. Particularly Trazen, Imhotep, and Orcan the Divider. And there's Deceiver as well, actually, because they just done the Void Dragon and the Nightbringer. Let him retire in peace. No, I want Trazen. He's cool. But yeah, that was thing. That was Warhammer. There's some cool stuff. I did really like. Let's have a look to see if we can bring up some of the previews if any of them are up already. Revenue infusion of your plastic rack. I'm not buying any of these things. Don't worry. Nothing right now, actually. So these guys are cool, and you could 100% make that guy an executioner. 100%. No, I've said, and I'm going to keep to it this time because I need to buy new stuff for my model, so I'm not buying anything for Warhammer. I'm not buying anything until the new box set in summer when new 40k 11th edition comes. But Huron, I do like the sorcerer. Is there any monsters or was it all men this evening? There was a couple of monsters. I mean, arguably this is a big monster. But this Huron and all his guys, they were cool. There was a dog alien with a dog alien. It was cool. Big army, new guys. These guys have mohawks. They look fun. He's throwing a grenade. He's all silly in the face. I don't like him. These are just normal Space Marines that have been upgraded with a sprue. Where's the Bone Reapers? Because these guys are cool. There's a Bone Man in a chariot. I like him. There's Bone Men in a bone chariot. There's this guy. There's this guy from behind. These guys have bows, which is pretty cool. These guys are ninjas. Bone ninjas. Pretty happy with them. And they got big things with these all old models. And they coming back. I don't think there was any like monsters, was there? No. Other than that big tank. No monsters. Are they going to show anything else? Oh. Yeah, this is definitely a defiler, I think. Or maybe it's a Hellbrute, a new Hellbrute. New Hellbrute would make sense with these guys. Because that's a foot. But is that just like a Space Marine foot? Because that looks a lot more Obliterator size than it does Dreadnought size. This could be Perturabo. You could be looking at Perturabo. That's a defiler foot. That is a defiler foot. I've wanted more demon engines, so I'm really happy to see these. That's just a generic sprue, I guess we're gonna get. Hammer, need hammer. These are weapons. That's pretty cool. I think definitely going to be Defiler, right? Blah, 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 blah. Reinforcements of the brutal chaos of the 4th Legion. But which way does this belong to? Low down as soon as we can. Well, you could have given it now. Don't lie. Bang today. Something for the Horizon title, Eye of Terror, due out in a few months. So I'm assuming that's going to be like the next Maelstrom thing. So who are they fighting? I think it's new Defiler and maybe a Warpsmith and Terminate armor. That's a good call. New Mutilators. That's a really good call, actually. These are definitely good. It could be Mutilators. Yeah, I think you're right there. I think that's a Mutilator arm and that's a Mutilator leg. Instead on for the Obliterate kit. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're 100% on that. I think that's a Mutilator leg and that's a Mutilator arm. Because there's little demon bits in there. Cool. But it's a claw pick. Looks very close. I assumed that was that's a Space Marine arm and that's like a robot arm. And that's just a little man head. Fucking PAC from the British kit looks like after painting 4 of them. We do need it. It does need updoing. Like I posted in the Discord. Just gonna every time I mention the Discord, I gotta do that. Discord in the server. It's there's new kit for the Mechanicus. You could easily turn these guys into oblits. 100%. In fact, I think that's kind of what they're intended for, is to do their role in that kit, but also kit bashing for oblits, which is cool.